Oh yeah, we don't need to do the 1-2 thing anymore. That's
No?
quite handy. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. I'm going to miss it.
Greetings, fellow Dagorans, and welcome to another episode of the GnM podcast. It's been a while since we've done the last one.
Certainly has,
because, well, I've been away, and this has kind of really been the first chance we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no George. He's asleep. Blame him. Go mad at him in the comment section.
Bastard.
Yeah. So, and also, this is the first podcast that is available on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio, so if you want to download them on your phones and just listen to them as you go, you can do that, because this is going to be the first one that's only an audio file. So, say hello, Nathan.
Hello, Nathan.
Yeah. Good,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
good to kind of get back, isn't it, to the podcast? We haven't really talked about stuff for a while.
No, we certainly haven't. No, it's been a long time. I'm looking forward to getting back to it, and most of all, looking forward to panning Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's going to be great in the movie segment.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, you said beforehand that you haven't had chance, before we start recording, that you haven't had much chance to play much stuff since we've been gone, but if you have played anything, what have you played?
Well, I have actually been going on a bit of a classics kick at the minute. I've been playing Simpsons Hit and Run.
Oh, what a game.
Oh, yeah.
What a game.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It makes me cry just thinking about it. Oh, it's amazing. And I've been playing... right, you remember Spyro the Dragon?
Yes.
Well, do you remember they did a reboot in 2006? called
I
Legend
do
of
remember
Spyro?
that, yes, Legend of Spyro.
Well, I've been playing all three of those games and realised that they are varying degrees of shite. But yeah, it's fun to play them. It's fun to play them again.
Yeah. Can I ask you about Simpsons Hit and Run?
Yes, please.
Where are you? What level are you on?
I've completed it all.
I completed all.
Well-
You did level. What level was your favourite? Because I remember this quite well. Because level 1 was Homer, wasn't it? In
Yeah.
kind of Springfield. Level 2 was Bart, wasn't it? In like downtown kind of
Yeah.
rougher region. Level 3 was Lisa.
Yep, that's right, in Squidport.
Yeah. Level 4 was Marge.
Yep.
5 was a Pooh, was it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I can't remember 6, and 7 was Zombie Land, wasn't it?
6 was Bart in Squidport again.
That was it. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then 7 was.
Homer and Zombie.
Yeah.
Oh, I quite like Bart's second mission, the Squidport.
Did you?
Yeah, I like the setting, and I
Yeah.
like the cars.
I remember. Do you know? I think is it the first thing you do where you got to do the jump, and then go through the. What was it? Like a tunnel in the middle of the air, in the middle of a
Yeah,
building.
the Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
The Ring of Fire.
I remember.
the
I
Ring of
remember.
Fire
I could not
stick.
do that for absolutely ages when I first got it, because I first got it when I was like 8 or 9, and I was
Yeah.
like so pissed off. And then when I did it, I was like, yeah. And then I could do it every time since then. You know.
Yeah. Well, the same with me. I couldn't do that jump, but I always used to do it on Lisa's mission.
Yeah.
I could never do it on that either. But I only ever got to Apu's mission because I couldn't find the start point for the first mission of Apu's level.
Yeah.
So I was just stuck there for ages, and I was just driving around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what to do. I was probably 8 or 9 at the time too. It was the first PC game I ever got, and we binned it a
Yeah.
couple of days later because my dad decided he didn't want it on the computer. He bought me it on PS2 a couple of years later.
Yeah, I remember getting it because I remember I used to go around to my friend's house all the time when I was
Yeah.
young, and he used to play it, and I was like, oh, I need to have this game. So, because I really love The Simpsons, so I went to my mum like, oh, I really want to play The Simpsons. Like, oh, we're not sure if you're going to get it, and then she's like, I'm not going to be able to afford it. You're not going to get it. And then when I went to school, and when I come home, she went, oh, can you just open the boot compartment of the car? It's like, just get like the keys out of there, or something. Just get the CD out of there, or something like that. So I opened it, and there was a bang. I was like, "What's in this bag?" I was like, "Oh, have a look." And it was Simpsons Hit and Run. I was like, "Yes!"
It's the way.
Yeah, it's so fun though. It's funny, like, isn't there an episode where like Homer's got to run around collecting coins in like the nuclear power plant or something like that? There's a
Yeah.
surveillance one, isn't there? Where there's like a
He's
surveillance van.
Yeah, he's got to destroy the radios so that Burns won't spy on him while he's sleeping.
Yeah,
And then he goes home. No, he wastes the entire day. He destroys all the radios and stuff. And he goes, finally, I can get some sleep. And the work bell goes to signal he has to go home.
yeah,
So he goes home and he follows this black van, which he thinks is spying on him. It turns out later it's just a pizza van.
yeah. Oh god,
Great.
and the costumes are hilarious as well because it actually takes
Yeah.
from previous episodes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Got like you've got Bart. You can dress him up as Bartman.
Yeah.
Which is so great. I love doing that. And Homer, you've got Homer Casual, which is just him in his underwear.
Yeah, yeah. There's one way Homer you can dress Homer up as a woman, can't you?
Yeah,
Yes.
Homer Moo.
Yeah.
And I like Homer with the donut head.
Oh
That-
yeah. I like that one.
Yeah,
Did you ever play the Simpsons game? The actual.
I did play that. I've got that on DS and Wii. I think. I didn't like it.
Did you not?
No, I
I
thought
liked
I heard.
the early levels.
Yeah, I thought those were good because it felt like they were kind of like, and this is the same as Simpsons Hit and Run. It felt like they were kind of scenes out of the Springfield kind of life, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then it got weird after that. It was like they were travelling through different like parody versions of games.
Yeah.
And when you get to the boss fight with Matt Groening, you've got like Bender and Fry and Zoidberg attacking you and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's I thought I preferred it. I heard it's really good on 360.
I
That's
played
just-
it on PS2, and then
Yeah.
and then I got it on my DS, and I preferred it on PS2 than I did the DS.
Yeah, no, the DS version was not great because they skipped out a lot of levels.
Yeah,
But in the 360 version, you actually get to explore Springfield.
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, like run around at Free World. So that seems pretty interesting. I might invest in that at one point.
Yeah. The best. My favourite level is, I don't know if this. I didn't complete the DS version, but I did complete it on PS2.
Mm.
My favourite one is where you Marge and Maggie, you kind of like rallying a protest against a game
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, Itchy and Grand Theft Scratchy. isn't
Yeah,
it?
something like that. And
Yeah.
then you got to control Maggie going through air vents to open doors.
yeah. And you look down, and there's Mayor Quimby
Yeah.
with a bag of money.
Yeah, and women,
jacuzzi.
and women in a jacuzzi.
Yeah, with two beautiful.
Oh god. Oh, it's great.
Oh, great.
Okay, so Spyro. Let's go to Spyro.
Let's go Spyro.
What did you not like about it?
What did I not like about the Legend of Spyro?
Yeah.
Too serious. Not fun. Repetitive. Graphics. Graphics actually, now I think about it, were all right.
Which one did you play? Did you play the actual Legend of Spyro or the New Beginning or Dawn of the Dragon?
New Beginning,
New
Eternal
Beginning.
Night, Dawn of the Dragon. I played all three.
Oh yeah, because I played all three before. And which one was your favourite? If you
Dawn
had
of the
one.
Dragon was my favourite.
Yeah, same here. I thought it was the best one by quite the distance.
Yeah, and I enjoy playing as Cinder because I like Cinder as a character.
Yeah.
I thought the story. I'll be honest. I thought the story was interesting in the Legend of Spyro series. I just thought it didn't fit in a Spyro kind of.
Setting, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, because you've got and I felt I didn't kind of like the fact they were trying to make it into some kind of epic where you've got lots of very famous voice actors.
Yeah, because I think with Spyro, it's just kind of a game where it's just, it's a fun kind of thing to do, not some
Yeah.
epic adventure, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, where you had like who did you have? You had Billy West as
Yeah.
As Sparks. You had Elijah Wood as Spyro. Christina
Was Elijah Wood
Ricci
in
as-
it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew that
He was
Billy West was in
Spyro.
it. Was he?
Yeah. Gary Oldman was Ignitus. The big red dragon.
Bloody hell, this is a...
Yeah.
This is
Mark
Castlevania.
Hamill. Mark Hamill was Malifaux,
Was he?
the evil dragon. Yeah. Christina Ricci was Cinder. They've got really big names
Yeah.
in it. I could have sworn I've heard the voice of one of the blue dragon. I think his name's Chronicler. I could have sworn I've heard that voice before.
Yeah.
It made me think of Ian McKellen, but I don't think it's Ian McKellen.
Well, I don't think he's done a video game, has he? Other than the Lord of the Rings ones.
No. I know Michael Gambon has done ESO.
He's done ESO, he's done Fable Legends.
Yeah,
All he does now is voice acting because he's got such a good voice.
yeah, he has got a really good voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
anything else you've been playing?
No, that's about it. Like I said to you before, I've been watching more TV than anything, but I suppose we can talk about that in the film section.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I found a way to make it relevant if we're talking about other
Yeah.
stuff later. Anyway, we'll go on to that.
Yeah. So, by the way, the games that Ian McKellen has done is Two Towers game, The
Yeah.
Return of the King,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings: The Third Age,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings: Battle for Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings: Aragorn's Quest, which was absolutely dreadful.
Really?
Lego Lord of the Rings and Lego the Hobbit. Yeah, it was awful. It's like it was basically Gandalf and Aragorn versus the world. Like,
okay.
because well, it just felt so stupid. Like, Do you know in the books when Aragorn, he's talking about Aragorn and Gandalf finding Gollum?
Yeah.
It's that basically, but there's like two huge armies going against each other having a fight, and you're in the middle of it. You're like, oh shit! And then like you're running in between it, and then while this massive fight's going on, and Gandalf's like, get to the forest, and you get to the forest, and you just happen to find Gollum, and you're just like, you know, I've only really played, well, in the past like 5-6 years, two really good Lord of the Rings games, and that was Shadow of Mordor and Lord of the Rings Online. Like, because I didn't really think much of the Lego one, personally.
No, I never think much of Lego games, to be honest. The only ones I liked were Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, I like Star Wars, and I'm not really into Star Wars, but I thought the missions, you know, well, I don't know what they're called. You know, like the playing things where you fly. What are they called?
Oh, Lego City.
No, on Star Wars. What are the things that they fly?
Pod races.
Yeah. No, I like the races on that, especially when you've got a friend to play with you.
Yeah, that's great. You just hold down the A button and turn on the invincibility cheat, and that's it.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I've been playing quite a lot, really, since because my dad said to me, because you know I went to Ireland for 2 weeks, and we stay at family's house because we've got family over there. We like play games with each other here and there, and he knows that like I know, you know, good co-op games and stuff like that. So he went to me, get some games for us to play when we were over there, just for us to enjoy. And it's kind of like my dad and my older generation family aren't interested in games at all, to be honest. Like, it's kind of a stretch to get him to play a game, but I was able to get him to play this one. Have you heard of the Yorg?
No.
It's an indie game. It's really interesting. It's about half an hour long to complete, but it's a game that's meant to be, you know, replayed.
Yeah.
And it's 4-player, and basically you're in this town, and you know that in 6 weeks' time the York is coming. In each turn is 1 week, and you basically got prepared for the York to come. So then when the York comes, it shows a fight, and then you either defend or you kill it, and you do like little missions to kind of set up the defences, but you don't kill anyone in the game, so you know I don't think a lot of people will be entertained there. But you've got open choice to do anything. Like overall, I was there. We must have played it about 10 or 11 times through, and you can like one thing you can do on a turn is just not do anything and just go in a pub and drink, and then the York will come, and then you can see the effect it will have on it. And like I really like this game. But my dad and my auntie and uncle, who have like not really into games, they loved it. Like they were playing it all the time.
Yeah.
And, like it's. I don't know, like, it was kind of surprising about how kind of, you know, good it was, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it was just great to kind of, like, run around the village, because you can see loads of different areas of the village, like, and you can see things in one turn that you wouldn't see in another turn, because, like, the choices that you do kind of impact the levels of a turn, because you can see the defences being built and things like that, and people moving to different areas of the city. And, it's quite hard as well, like, we only was able to defeat the Orc twice. And all the times we were doing it, it's really fun, and it was only 99p.
Wow.
Yeah, so but it's a game that you can play it on your own, but it's a game that's meant to be played with 3 other people.
So what was the kind of view of this game? Was it top down or?
It was top down when you selected your character, and you know when it's kind of going around the village.
Yeah.
But then when you go into like doing choices and stuff, it kind of goes into this kind of cartoon book kind of style,
Right.
where it shows like pages of a book kind of thing, and you can set choices to do. There's like loads of different choices that you'd pick in each one, which impact the story. And like I saw it, and there's like something like 100 different ways you can defeat the Orc, and loads of different ways where you could not be. It's really fun actually. It was quite interesting, especially when you're in a group of people. You're kind of talking to each other on what you're going to do here and there and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was one that we played. We only played 2 because we played that kind of overshadowed it, and the other one we played was I was told to get a horror game. Do you know, for us all to kind of shit ourselves at. And I hate horror games massively.
Yeah, me too.
But I heard about one a couple of years ago, which was because do you know about Metal Gear Solid 5 was in the news a lot. So I'll get the one that Kojima made.
Yeah.
So do you know? Have you heard of PT?
Yeah, well, Silent Hills PT.
Yeah.
You got that.
Yeah.
Oh, you played that, all of you.
Yeah. But I don't know if you know, but when it came out, it was just released as PT, and no one knew at the end of the game there was going to be a trailer for Silent Hill. It was released like that, so that was on my mind. So at the end of the game, which you're not meant to get to, but we got there because there was so many to kind of persevere into each other.
Yeah.
We played that, and you're getting stuck in a loop, and there's like a there's like a puzzle and a code, and when you find the code, you complete the game, and that's when you get the trailer for Silent Hill. And let me put it this way, right? Loads of people play PT, but it took a week for someone on the internet to get the code to be able to see the ending of the game and get the trailer. No one knew that there was going to be a trailer at the end of it, so like everyone was just like, "What is it?" And like, a week in internet time is forever, you know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is the most fucked up, crazy code I've ever seen in my entire life. Like literally, it's like 70034, which is like code for tree apparently. And like how it was found, I googled how it was found after we did it. After I got it off the internet, and it was found by a person who did it accidentally. So you basically got to like spin round on the controller, wait 30 seconds for it to vibrate, press square and then X, and something like that, and then you got a code comes up and you got to put the numbers in correctly. It took us like 20 minutes to complete this code, and then there's a trailer for Silent Hill at the end of it. It's insane.
Cool.
It's insane.
God, I know they say Kojima's a troll, but. Damn, that's taking it to extremes.
I know, like I couldn't believe it when it said how to do it. I was like, no way. And then when we did it, there's a trailer for it at the end, and it's insanely scary. There was points in the game where I couldn't hold the controller because do you know what you expect of like games? You know when you've played a bit of, you're like, oh, something's going to jump out of there.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you're like, oh, something's going to jump out of there. So you turn around, and then there's like a face right up to yours. When you turn around, you're like, oh, you're not expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's great, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen gameplay of PT and it looks terrifying.
It is terrifying, and I'll be honest with you, if there wasn't so many people there with me, I wouldn't have got to the end of it.
Yeah, it's the kind. I think with horror games, a lot of the time you have to, if you want to complete it, you have to be playing it with someone else, or you've got to have balls of steel.
Yeah.
God, you've got to be sociopathic.
Yeah.
Jeez, I hate horror games. I hate horror.
I just generally don't like horror as a thing because I don't enjoy getting scared.
No.
I'll be honest with you, but it was a great thing to have, with the family there because there was like 10 of us in the room when everyone was playing it. So it was funny, people crying and stuff. It's a good thing to do with like a big group of people. It is funny.
Yeah. But I think the thing about a horror game is for it to be scary, you have to be playing it. You know what I mean? Properly scary.
Yeah.
The thing I was kind of amazed at PT was just watching it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, something weird's going to happen here. But usually with horror games, that's not the case.
No.
You know what I mean? Like playing Slender, okay, it has a jump scare. It's not that scary when you're not playing it, but when you're actually playing it, God, that shit's terrifying.
Yeah. Like the thing with most horror games, it seemed to me, is that they get repetitive after a while. Like there's like certain tropes that they follow. Like I said before, like you'll see like an open window, and after a while you'll get across there and you'll be like, oh, something's going to jump out, or you'll get in a long hallway.
Yeah.
You have a glimpse of it at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
There's always like little things that they always do.
Yeah, Dark Souls has that problem. A lot of jump scares that you're just predicting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if I walk down this empty corridor, a corridor's never empty in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
A corridor's never empty. You kind of like, if I walk down this empty corridor, something's going to drop on me. You just know it, don't you? Or something's going to attack you from behind.
Yeah.
Or something's going to come running at you. Or, you know, it's going to happen. It always does.
Yeah. So, what else have I been playing? There's an indie game that was the free-to-play game on PlayStation this month called Limbo. And
yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a platformer where it's like a really kind of dark background and everything, but I haven't played many platformers, to be honest with you, but this one, it seems like you've got to look really closely at stuff to figure things out. Like, one that made me laugh, like, there's like a point where there's like a ship that you've just gone on to get across this lake, and then there's a rope up high and there's like a block to jump on, and you can't reach the block by jumping normally. You get about halfway, so you're thinking, how am I going to get on? And you go to the boat and try and sail it up, and you can't get it. And I was looking around for about 10 minutes, and then I looked at the end of the boat, and there's like a tiny little handle that you can just see, and I was like, so you got to drag the boat and go up and go over. It takes about 2 hours to finish overall. It's just a short little thing. I wouldn't pay for it, to be honest with you, if it weren't free. Because I'm not really interested in platforms. It's just a little thing, to pass the time.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of fun. More kind of useful on handhelds, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Than actual consoles.
Yeah.
Like the Vita.
Yeah, the Vita or the 3DS or something like that, because it did come out on both of those.
Yeah, I can imagine it coming into its own on the handheld.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something about Limbo. I remember just Limbo being about a kid who's dead or something like that.
Yeah, it's got a dark kind of setting. It's like a kid who's dead. It's like his mother died and his dad left him in the forest, so he's now trying to find his way back. Something like that. It's quite.
Yeah.
It's got a dark setting. I did really enjoy the art style because it's like different shades of black and like a kind of grey mist that goes to white in the background. And I don't really like kind of dark things like that, but I thought it worked well because you can always see everything behind you, and stuff does stand out, and you can see different shapes.
There was another one that came out, I think, around a similar time to that one, around a similar theme, called The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard a lot about that. Yeah,
yeah, I think that followed on a similar theme. Isaac was, I think, killed by his mom, who was some kind of religious radical.
Yeah.
And he was dead and working his way through purgatory, I think, and there are like 15 different endings, all of them distinctly creepy. So I don't know, I don't go for those kind of games, but Limbo looks pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Just because of the puzzling platform kind of thing, one you have to think about.
Yeah, and like, God, people still play Binding of Isaac. A lot of people, like, I know the main guy who does it is Northern Lion, and I think he's over 700 episodes.
Yeah.
For Binding of Isaac Let's Play, something like that. Christ, if you've watched all of that, well done. Congratulations. And he still gets, I think he still gets like over 100,000 views per episode.
Blimey.
Something like that, yeah. But like, anyway, what else have I been playing? I've been playing my usuals, Rocket League and FIFA and that. But I was going to save this till later, but I'll talk about it now. Do you know when I said to you about that I found a piece of paper with my old World of Warcraft username and password on it? So I re-downloaded World of Warcraft. I was yet to pay a subscription fee for it because I didn't really want to, but on a video of WoW Crendor, he gave out like 100 3-month subscriptions for not the recent expansion, but the expansion before. And I stopped playing just before the expansion before, so I was like, oh, this is right on my alley. So I signed up, and I got the 3 months free subscription. So I've been playing a lot of that over this past week and a half.
Courtesy of Crendor.
Yeah, and it's kind of taken over my life a little bit, because like last night I was like, okay, well, I'll play an hour of it after, because I was talking to George for a little bit last night and playing a bit of FIFA. I was like, I'll play an hour of this, then I'll watch Star Trek and go to bed. And I was like, I ended up playing like 4 or 5 hours of it, and it's been like that for quite a while, because I just want to do all the stuff that it's to do, all the leveling in this expansion, and do the raids, and then do Warlords of Draenor, and do the raids, and then I'll just put it to a side, because it's so much fun. Like, the actual leveling up, and you can... One thing that I've missed about it, which I didn't really realise I missed before, is the way, when you level up, you can really see the impact of your level, your skills leveling up.
Yeah.
More so than what you do in other games. Like in Elder Scrolls Online, when you leveled something up, like a skill or something like that, it'd still feel the exact same. It'd maybe just feel a tiny bit more powerful.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It was kind of, you had to stockpile.
Yeah.
Like you have to stockpile level ups.
Yeah.
So you can apply it, and once they're applied, and once you've done it like 5 times or whatever, then you start to see a noticeable difference.
Exactly. And there's been a lot of changes in this expansion of what I remembered, because I stopped playing around about early 2012 was when I started playing, and it's definitely become a lot more streamlined. Very much quicker to do the thing, because I think they realised early on that people don't care about the leveling stuff, but the people that do will stay and read all the shit. I don't really care, so I just kind of get through it as quickly as I can, and the things where when you pick skills to level up for before, it's kind of easy now to make choices, so the whole thing is a lot quicker to do. Like, and moving from zone to zone is really quick. Like, the Pandaria zone is like, I don't know if you know about it, but it's like a Panda Kingdom, it's like Panda Men kind of thing.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and I'm nearly done with all the leveling up. I'll probably be able to finish that by the end of today, and then do the race tomorrow. But
that's right.
Yeah, and then I'll probably pay the £10 for Warlords of Draenor, because there's only a £10 increase now.
Alright, fair enough.
So I'll probably do that, and then I'll hopefully finish that by the time I go to uni.
Yeah.
What was and then what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and that I checked on. Do you know the guild that I was in before? I'm still registered in it.
Oh,
And
okay.
I looked at the people. Do you know when they've last been online?
Yeah.
Every single one of them, but me, was last online like 3 months, like 6 months ago or something like that. So it sounds like they come on every single expansion, and then wait, and then play to its course, and then when they're done with it, they just leave.
Yeah, they stop playing again.
Yeah, and then come back when the new expansion comes out, which sounds the norm now. So I thought it was quite interesting to see how they're all still playing, but me.
Yeah.
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 So Metal Gear Solid 5. We'll talk a bit about that.
Yes.
So I know you haven't seen a lot about it, Metal Gear
No.
Solid 5, but it's been kind of really well critically received. You know, it's got 10 out of 10 kind of pretty much across the board. It's got like a 90 on Metacritic.
Wow.
And yeah, and of the stuff that you've seen, like before this came out, what's kind of if you kind of been it looked like an interesting concept to you, or
Yeah, it looked like an interesting concept just in terms of raw gameplay. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't that won over by the story or anything like that, just because I had no idea what's going on in Metal Gear Solid World.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me because I think the second one is set before the first one, and the third one is set 50 years in the future.
yeah.
It's all over the place, but you know, particularly the gameplay was very interesting. I've always kind of thought with Metal Gear Solid, or what I've always understood with Metal Gear, is that the gameplay is very polished. You know, the graphics I thought looked very, very good.
Yeah.
And you know, it's got those funny kind of quirky gameplay moments. You know, like the rocket fist and that.
Yeah.
You know, just stuff that they don't have to do, but they do anyway because they think it'll be a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
You know, I always like that about a game. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always thought it impressed me quite a bit, and I liked the sound of the online. to be
Yeah.
honest. I think that sounds really good. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty much on board with it.
Yeah, for me, I like kind of what you said. Like, I like how it, does little bits that are like literal to reality. Like, and like they do that parachute thing where you attach a guy to a parachute and it shoots up and takes him back to another base. Yeah. Like, it's just little things. Like, if you're inside a building, you can't do it. If you're under a tent or under any sort of cover whatsoever, you have to drag them out to do it. And then at the same time, it does the rocket launcher fist and things. It's got like an equal balance, I think, of both. And I've seen quite a lot of stuff on it because it does look interesting to me. Because I did play Ground Zeroes, and even though it took an hour to finish, I did. Really, it was kind of good gameplay. To kind of sneak around. There's different ways you can do it. You can either go in all guns blazing, or sneak in and take the people out without killing anyone, or sure everyone's asleep and get all the stuff. It was fun to do.
Yeah.
But I do like the way the character moves. It definitely seems very fluid. How you can take cover and things.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'll probably get in the new year once it's gone down in price, because I kind of want to play it because it definitely looks like one of them games in an open world where you're not necessarily the centre of attention. Like, things would still happen even if you're not there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. Yeah. You feel like you're coming into a world that's already there.
Yeah.
And will go on after you've left it.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, to me is the best open world games. And
Yeah.
like The Witcher does that extremely well. Well, to be honest, I think even Skyrim does it well. Like, I know Skyrim, you are the centre of attention, but you still feel like the world is living around you. People.
Yeah,
still...
you get people running up to you and saying random things, and you
Exactly.
get quests that you've never got before, and
Yeah.
you find buildings that you haven't been in before, and you find a key for a dungeon that you've been trying to get in for ages. There's always mysteries to explore, aren't there?
And there's stuff that goes on. You hear stories, you hear rumours about what's going on in different areas of the country, and games like that. They're kind of like my favourite games, and a lot of open world games are starting to do it now. Like even Batman Arkham Knight. I know the world's on shutdown, but you hear all the time about there's a fire over here or whatever. There's like different things going on around Gotham.
Yeah, like crimes in progress and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You eavesdrop on people's conversations where they're talking about what it's like in Bloodhaven, or Metropolis or Keystone or whatever, and what's going on there. And
Yeah.
yeah, totally agree with you.
Yeah, and this kind of seems like it has that because I saw one mission where there's like an important person that arrived at a base, and you've got to take him out, and it showed both consequences. Like it showed him kind of watching from afar, and it showed the important person coming in, doing his stuff, and then going away, and then it comes up with mission failed, and then you got to go back to Mother Base, and then act from then on, or you actually complete it, and you go from Mother Base, and everything's a success. And the difference in the both of them was incredible. Like you can actually fail a mission and continue with the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, which is something that Shadow of Mordor did extremely well. If you got killed by an orc, he'd rise in power, and then if you keep getting killed by him, then he'll get stronger and stronger and then harder for you to kill. And that was like literally my favourite part of the game. That was so good. Like, and it's been a year to today when that came out.
Really?
Yeah, one whole year.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
It's getting old.
It is, yeah. What a game though. It was incredible.
Yeah, that was the highlight of 2014.
Yeah.
And 2014 has been a fairly dismal year for games, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was poor. Like I know Dragon Age Inquisition got it, but Shadow of Mordor was the game of the year.
Mordor deserved it.
Yeah.
So the only reason I think no, I won't say that. I won't diss Dragon Age Inquisition too readily.
Yeah.
Just we'll move on. Less said about it.
But yeah, like but this year so far has been pretty good, I think, for games.
Yeah.
I think I know Arkham Knight got a lot of shit, but I thought I really liked it. I really liked The Witcher. Bloodborne looks like a really good game. I know like there's been little bits here and there, like The Order was disappointing.
Yeah.
But,
well, The Order was very disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just disappointing; it was dismal.
Yeah, and Mortal Kombat didn't seem too great either. Like,
Well, actually, I heard Mortal Kombat was pretty good, except for the PC version.
yeah, I've heard that like when people played it, they enjoyed it, but the thing about it is that people have stopped playing it already, which I've heard.
Yeah. You don't feel like going back to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're introducing a lot of new characters, but
Yeah, but I've heard that a lot of the hardcore fans didn't like the new characters. I heard they felt like cop-offs of the old ones.
yeah, well, I can imagine. I mean, after 9 games of
And 2 films as well.
and 2 films and other spin-offs like Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Yeah.
You get used to those characters,
Yeah.
don't you? It's kind of like Ezio in Assassin's Creed. You get used to Ezio.
Yeah.
Like, and when Conor comes along, you don't like him.
Yep.
From the start.
Exactly. And I think for me, The Witcher 3 has been the standout for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the first game in a long time where I've been really, really excited for it, and it's paid off. ESO was the most hyped I've ever been for a video game, and that plummeted so far down. It was incredible. So disappointed, but I think it's going to take a lot to beat. I'm like, Fallout could maybe do it to beat it for my game of the year.
Fallout 4 is the only one that has a chance of doing it.
Yeah, it does.
And the thing about it is, I think it's already got something behind it. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Bethesda are good at open world games.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red, they're a bit of an indie darling. You know what I mean? But Bethesda, they're AAA.
Yeah.
So I think they're likely to score points straight off for the fact that they're releasing a new game.
Yeah.
Which is a bit unfair, but whoever said awards were about achievement.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I'm looking forward to seeing the game of the year because it seems like there's going to be 3 major contenders. This, Metal Gear, The Witcher, and Fallout 4. That's kind of what it. It looks like it's going to be close. It looks like it's going to be scattered amongst the different ones. And
Yeah, totally. Each one of them deserves a handful of awards.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, we don't know about Fallout 4 yet, but Metal Gear Solid 5 and The Witcher 3 definitely does.
Yeah. I think Fallout 4 will be, if they don't get it right, but I think they will get it right. If they don't get it right, it will be a disaster. I think. Yeah. People will just be so pissed off if that game is not perfect.
They will. But it does look bright in the minute, but I will be honest, I do have a couple of worries about it. Like, one thing that's got me worried is, do you know, like in The Witcher, they have this thing called the rubber banding system, where it's like a certain level for a certain area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in The Witcher, it felt right because you're doing stuff, amongst the area, and you're meeting different characters, and you want to hear the story. So you never felt like you never wanted to go out to different areas. Like I know George when he played it, he got a bit bored of the area, and he wanted to run off to Novigrad and just open the game up there. And he couldn't quite get there because when he ever got there, he needed a pass, and when he did the mission to get the pass into Novigrad, he would die.
Yeah.
So he kind of stopped playing the game for that reason. But for me, I was so interested in the story that I never felt like I want to move on to that area. It's like I'm not quite done here yet, if you know what I mean. I want to finish off here and then move on.
Yeah.
Whereas in Skyrim, it's never had that. You can just run off anywhere in the world, and like different things will be higher level. Like dragons will be high level, where you get stronger and you fight them. You know, the higher level you get, the easier it's going to get.
Yeah, yeah. But you can still kill a dragon from a low level.
You can, yeah, you can. But you know, it's a lot harder than what it would be.
Yeah, that's just not the case in Fallout, is
Yeah.
it? In Fallout, you know, in Fallout, this was the problem with that. One of the only problems in New Vegas, everything is orange.
Yeah.
The setting is so uninspiring.
Yeah.
There was one point where I got to. I can't remember what it's called, but it's up in the mountains.
Mm.
All of a sudden, you're surrounded by greenery.
Yeah. It's the green zone. Yeah.
Yeah, in the setting, and you're like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, oh, if all the game was like this, it'd be just,
Yeah.
you know, stunning.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about the Fallout New Vegas setting that is a bit boring.
Yeah.
And so you feel like you have to go out and explore all the other places, but you can't go out and explore all the other places because if you put a foot out of line, you'll die.
Yeah.
Like, you try to get to New Vegas City, you try to get to the Strip,
Yeah.
and you don't go on a specific plan, a specific trajectory, which will take you past all of the fringe cities, or the fringe towns. If you don't go on that route, you have a choice of being killed by death claws, mines, catasaurs, or cannibals, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even there you've got choice. You know, pick the way you want to die. Yeah.
So like, I am looking forward to playing Fallout 4, but, you know, it's still a little bit, you know, like a little bit of doubt on some of the things that they're doing. And plus, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen enough of the game, to be honest with you. Now, the only bits I've seen is the stuff that they released at E3, the little snippets they released in the Microsoft press conference, and the dodgy fake release gameplay that was released on Pornhub.
You went on Pornhub?
No, I saw it on YouTube before it was released on Pornhub. But then when I saw it, cause it was like I just googled Fallout lead gameplay, and I had like 10,000 views, and it was called like 100248876 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and then the next day I saw a video, and it was getting like, it's gone on Pornhub, and I was like, okay.
Oh, blimey! No, I never got the chance to watch that.
You didn't miss anything. You couldn't really see anything. There's like shoulders in the way, and it's like really low quality camera.
Yeah, yeah. But I think, to be fair, I seem to remember The Witcher 3 was. I remember it was announced a long time before it came out.
Oh yeah, it was released in 2013. Announced in 2013. Sorry.
Yeah.
Meant to come out in 2014, and then it was delayed, saying they're going to make the game better. And then when all the shit was going down, you know, about games being buggy and things like that with Assassin's Creed, there was like, okay, we need to fix our game. So then they pushed it back 8 weeks.
Yeah. So it was about nearly 2 years.
It was 2 years, yeah.
Yes, but with Fallout, we've got a kind of path from announcement to release in about 4 months. Yeah. So I wouldn't be expecting them to be bombarding us with gameplay, if you know what I mean. With Witcher, they had to keep the hype going.
They did, yeah, but
because they kept putting it off.
I do suppose so, yeah. But the thing is, though, is that what's kind of annoying me a little bit is, you know, at conventions they're doing private, you know, gameplay shows to only the people there, and they're into high members of the press, and then they're not allowed to talk about it. So I don't really see the point in letting them see it.
No, me neither. Me neither, actually, to be fair on that one.
They could just release it to the world, and everyone wants to see it. So, you know, I don't see the harm in showing people this gameplay.
No, unless they're not 100% struck that people will like it.
Yeah, but you know, Bethesda have always been a little bit behind, you know, when it comes to interviews and things like that. Giving interviews out
a little bit.
So anyway, let's move on to Mad Max. You talked about Mad Max before on a podcast, saying you think it looks okay. So, what did you like about it before? And if you've seen anything, what do you like about it now?
What did I like about it before? graphics, setting.
Yeah. The setting
thought-
is great, yeah.
Yeah, I thought the setting was really interesting. I thought the idea as well of being in a Mad Max,
Yeah.
scenario, where you have to collect gasoline to keep your car going, or guzzling, I think it's called. In
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Being able to build your car, the Magnum Opus, Magnus Opus, whatever it's called, don't
Yeah.
speak Latin, was great. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Gameplay looked interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't really know that much about the Mad Max world, yeah. So I just thought it was interesting to look at, and I thought the trailers were really good as well. So.
Yeah, like for me, I've only seen the recent film,
Yeah.
and it's incredible. It's a great film.
Yeah, I've heard it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I what looks interesting to me is the idea of you're building your car up because someone's taken your old one. So
Yeah, you're back in black. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're building your old one up to building this one you've got up to try and go out and get it. And it seems like there's a lot to do. Like the map definitely seems interesting. Like there's different areas of the map that all have different things. Like well, on the Mad Max the film, the new one, there's like a big sandstorm area with like the nothing where they drive into and get to the other side of it. But in that area, you'll find like no gas or no resources or anything, but you'll find like rare parts of your car. So if you want to risk going in there and improve your car, you can do that, or you can go the safer way, but it'll take you longer.
Yeah.
And things like that. But one thing that I've seen, because I've seen quite a bit of it, which I kind of didn't enjoy, is the the combat outside of the car, because that car combat looks great. The outside of the car, it looks like an
Arkham knockoff.
Yeah. Well, a really bad Arkham knockoff, I'll say, 'cause you can only fight like 3 people at a time. But the thing that I really hate about it is like you can go to punch in one person, but if you press triangle in time, you'll just automatically shoot across and hit the other guy.
Yeah.
And it looks it doesn't look great, but the
it looks a bit kind of I don't know what the word for it is, but it's like when he's punching, all of a sudden his fist will hit his face.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. There'll be no kind of movement. It just looks a bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the vehicle combat looks great. It looks great how you can just drag people down, snipers and things, and destroying forts, kind of defences. It looks fun, but it doesn't look like something that I'd play full price for.
No.
I'd like to I'd wait a bit, and then if I want to get it like in the new year or next year sometime, then I'll get it. But I'll definitely keep my eye out for it.
I think the problem with it is maybe they've picked a bad time for release.
They have, yeah.
Same day as Metal Gear, isn't it? And you've got, and it's just before October when everything comes out.
Exactly. I think what the reason for it is because publishers, they wanted to bring it out the day the DVD comes out, the film, and I think the look at the time when the game comes out, when games come out and make a lot of money, and historically it's like September, October, November time, because that way people buy the games so they're Christmas presents for the kids.
Yep.
So I think they looked at that and then they're saying like, the Mad Max DVD for the new one is coming out today, so they could do a thing where we would give all the Mad Max films in the game, and when we can hype it up along with the DVD. And which, to be fair, they've kind of done. I've seen quite a few adverts on YouTube and things like that of the film, the thing, and the game. And I've seen quite a few people playing it, so it doesn't seem like it was a failure. But I don't think if they brought it out, say, a month earlier, I think it could have done better. Because a month ago, we was on a shortage of stuff to play. There's nothing coming out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, can we move on to Mafia 3?
Yes, yes, of course. Yep. I'm going to leave the talking to you on this one.
Okay, first of all, I want to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think of Mafia 3? What you've heard and what you haven't heard? What do you like and dislike? And what's your kind of conception of the game? Your thoughts on the game, sorry, yeah.
My thoughts on the game, I don't really have many, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't really know that much about it. I don't know much about the story. I got a kind of New Orleans kind of feel.
It is New Orleans, yeah.
New Orleans, because the swamps and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I've always been interested in that kind of historical setting.
Yeah.
Particularly with him being some kind of Vietnam veteran.
He's a Vietnam vet, yeah.
Yep, might make for some interesting kind of social commentary. I remember what you said about them, including, doing quite a bit on racism.
Yeah.
Which is a bit daring. for a
It's
game.
very daring, but
Yeah.
I'm happy they've got the balls to do it.
Yeah, that's it's a tough decision, but yeah, I think it's a good one.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. I haven't seen much gameplay at the minute though.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Okay, right. I'll give you kind of an intro. Right, it's set in 1968 New Orleans.
Yep.
So this is around the time when Martin Luther King got assassinated, and
Mm-hmm.
the civil rights movement was really in force. So in a southern city like New Orleans, the fact that they're setting it in this time and doing racism has got me excited.
Yeah.
Like he seems like it's going to be a pretty accurate portrayal of the world it's going to be in, and I'm happy about that. The main character from the previous game is going to be kind of your lieutenant. The main character is called Lincoln Clay, who
Right.
is a Vietnam veteran, like you said, whose family's been killed, and then he went to join the black mob, and because he's a black person himself, and
Yeah.
and then the black mob was kind of run down completely by the Italian mob. So now you're kind of, he's always kind of been looking for a family of his own. So then he's got these 3 lieutenants that you get at the start, but you can get your own as you go along. One of them's called Burke, who's an Irish dude.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's called Cassandra, who's that woman with the afro. She's
Yep.
a Haitian gangster, and then
Right.
there's Vito from the last game. So then you 4 are kind of like doing stuff, kind of taking out, doing kind of mafia D's, like deploying people in different areas, like taking over like drug houses and things like that, making money, trying to take down the Italian mob. But the thing that some people are not keen for is that this is very different than the other Mafia games, because
Yeah.
Mafia 2 is a very linear story of you and the Italian mob kind of rising through and the events that happen with that. This isn't. This is you taking on the Italian mob and trying to take it down and then build up your own Mafia, which
Yeah.
is the only part that's got me worried, because it sounds like it's trying to do too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so rather than going with what works, they're trying to take it in a different direction, and
Yeah,
you're not sure if it works.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But the thing that you should play this game for is the era. 68,
Yep.
New Orleans, it's got the great music. In the trailer it had the Kinks, it had Jimi Hendrix, it had him in there, it had the Rolling Stones. Just driving around and doing stuff here in the radio going is going to be great.
Yeah.
Choices are now a big part of it. You can now decide who lives and who dies, and apparently that has a big impact on you. So there's a lot to kind of get excited about. There's but one thing that's got me a bit, on edge is like, do I like it? Do I not? Is the explosions of cars. It literally looks like you can fire one bullet at a car and it'll explode, and it's got a bit of backlash about that, and I think they're going to draw it back a bit because it's going to be about a year till it comes out. So there's a lot they can do in a year.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely got me interested, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing how the civil rights movement is going to impact Lincoln, the main character, and how police officers are going to treat him with him being black in this time. It's just the era is the main thing that's got me excited, not necessarily the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, same here. Same
Yeah.
here. But is that the same for most Mafia games?
No, because
you play the era or the story.
well, the first Mafia game was it was a PlayStation 2 game. I think it was a PlayStation 2 exclusive, and it was you're a police officer who's working. Well, you originally work for the Mafia, and you do stuff high up in the Mafia, and then the FBI come to you and they want details on the gangster who's based off Al Capone, because this is 1920 Chicago. They always take a step forward, and then you end up, giving in loads of info and loads of being basically a rat on your mob boss, and the mob boss and all the high up officials are taken away to jail, and then you get taken away in witness protection, and that's kind of how the game ends. But the game ends with a cutscene of your guy in a kind of mowing his lawn, and then the 2 people come up to you and saying, Mr. Angelo, who is the mob boss, sends his regards and shoots you in the face. So you die at the end of the game. It's a really interesting story.
Okay.
But then the second one is that you actually play as the guy who shot him in the face. That's the guy you play as, and it's got nothing to do really with the first game.
Vito. Is that
Vito,
right?
yeah. Vito and Joe is like the main 2, and you play Vito and Joe's your friend. And then you kind of rise through the Mafia, and then you go to jail, and then you come back and you join a different family, because the other family were kind of dickheads, and then you kind of... There's like a war between the families, if you know what I mean, in Empire Bay. It's based off the War of the 5 Families in the 1950s New York. And it's really interesting. It's such a great story. The era is great. It works really well and becomes one of my favourite games. So I'd say the first one you'd play it for the story. The second one you'd play it for, I'd say mainly the story, but the era in the 50s, in the second half of the game, is really interesting as well. because
Yeah.
it's the game starts off in 45. Like you're a Sicilian war vet. You fought for the U.S. Army in Sicily against Mussolini, and then you get shot, and then you go home for a while, and then the Mafia help you, stay at home, and then you work
Yeah.
for the Mafia kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
okay.
So the story's really, I'd say the story's the best part, but you would play it a bit for the era in the 50s, because you hear songs that you recognise, like early stages of rock and roll and things like that.
Yeah.
And, cat houses, and it's New York in the 40s and 50s, and it just looks incredible. But I'd say for this one, of what it looks like to me so far, is that the era is the reason to play the game, and the era is what's going to make the game really strong, not the story, to be honest with you. But I could be proven wrong. The developers definitely seem passionate about the game. Like, I've watched an interview with Hayden Blackman, who's the lead gameplay designer in the game, or the game director, sorry, in the game, and he was talking that fast, he was trying to get so much info out that he was kind of stumbling over his words, and you could tell he was excited to get this stuff out to people, and he was like reeling off, Mafia films that they're taking inspirations from, and like I'm behind the development team because it's a brand new development team making the game, and I think that you can tell they're passionate, but the problem is that they're trying to do too much with the story, like trying to make it sound too epic where it could just fall flat and make it feel like this doesn't feel quite right, if you know what I mean.
Trying to leave their stamp on it, you mean?
Yeah. And I'm happy that they've gone to the 60s, because every Mafia game's taken a step forward. Like, it's gone 20s to 50s to 60s now, late 60s. And then, hopefully Mafia 4 will be like Miami in the 1980s, which will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 2000s will be Mafia 5, and that'll be in Russia. Yeah. And then you get Mafia 6 will be 2050, and that'll be the American government. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot they can do, but it's going to be interesting how they're going to take the step away from the Italian mob to the black mob.
Yeah.
But I don't care. The era's going to be that cool and that interesting to go in. I'm definitely going to play it. I'm pretty pumped for this game. I'd say this is probably the most excited game, the game I'm most excited for, to be honest with you.
Yeah. This year.
Yeah. No, it's coming out next year.
Well,
I'd say this coming out, that's been announced. Like, I'm pretty excited for Fallout 4, but I'd say, it's got a lot. I've always wanted to play a game in the 60s, in actual, normal society, not in, in a war area. Because we've had games in Vietnam before, but this is the first game that's going to be in, in the normal world,
post-war era.
Yeah, in the 1960s, and it's going to be great to just drive around and hear stuff, look at advertisements, because that's one thing that was great about Mafia 2, is hearing advertisements on the radio and hearing, news.
Yeah.
And hearing events that's happening in other areas, and then you hear like, you can buy a remote now, which makes you turn channels from over 10 meters away. And it's like this revolutionary thing, and like it just smiles to yourself because they've got history correct, like really well done and done in the right times and stuff. And they've taken inspiration really well from, stories that's happened in the Mafia. So, like, if you've seen a lot of Mafia documentaries, you'd recognise different jobs that's been taken from different areas.
Yeah.
And that's really been my favourite part of the game. And some people like the fact that it's a really good cover shooter. Some people really like the cars, because, it's got vintage cars that handle like crap, because, they are 40s and 50s. And then the better cars, handle well. They've done the stuff like that really well, and the actual culture of the time really well.
Yeah.
So, that's really what's got me excited for Mafia 3.
Right.
Okay, let's move on. We'll skip the Jimmy Kimmel thing. There's not a lot to say, other than he was stupid. Battlefront beta.
Yeah.
That's coming out in October.
Battlefield or Battlefront?
Battlefront. Right. It's coming out on early October for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So, Battlefront, you're a Star Wars kind of dude.
I am a Star Wars kind of dude.
You like Star Wars. You can talk about this now. Like, what you're excited for. What do you kind of like about it? Because I'll be honest with you, of what I've seen of Battlefront, it kind of seems a bit underwhelming to me.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
It's not not as I'd hoped it would be, but then maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I was hoping what we'd get is a Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Yeah.
Like they did a game called Star Wars Elite Squadron on the PSP, which was basically Star Wars Battlefront 3, and that was what I was hoping would be the next natural progression. You were transitioning from Earth battles or ground battles to space battles.
Yeah.
Without loading screens or without cinematics or or that kind of thing. You could just hop in a ship and just go, and that would have been, that would have given this kind of freedom, which I think is kind of what the sense they're trying to get across in the trailers, is that you can the way you can transition from ground forces, first person to third person, vehicle combat,
Yeah.
flying, to playing as a Jedi or a hero or a villain or that kind of thing. They're trying to get across that sense of freedom, but it's not quite as I imagined it.
Yeah.
And also another thing that's kind of got me a bit concerned is no story mode.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you know about Battlefront 2, 1 and 2, but they had a story mode, and it was a good story mode, and it fit in really well with the main Star Wars, with the original Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
It started off, the training mission started off at the end of Attack of the Clones. That's it. The second one, Attack of the Clones. Carried you through Revenge of the Sith, where you played as a where you played as a, you just played as random troopers helping to clear out the Jedi Temple, or track down Jedi and kill them, basically.
Yeah.
And then it took it from there to before the New Hope, before the start of New Hope, and carried you through to the beginning of Empire Strikes Back with the Battle of Hoth, and the game finished there.
Yeah.
Because that was the last kind of major Stormtrooper victory, I suppose, over the Rebel Alliance. And it ends with them destroying the transport ships as they're trying to escape, or most of the transport ships as the Rebel Alliance are trying to escape. So, it's got a really interesting story. You're following the journal of a soldier in the 501st Legion, which is Anakin's platoon, I suppose, or whatever, who later become Vader's fist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you're following them, you're following that story, and it's really, really fun. You get to play on lots of different maps, but there's none of that
in this one.
Yeah, in this one, they're just kind of, we're just going to do online battles.
Yeah.
Basically what they said. We're just going to do online battles, and you can do a couple of missions, but you can do those missions in any order at any time you like. And really, we're just going to set them up as a kind of challenge series.
Yeah. And like, I know the the main guy at EA, I forgot his name, but
Yes.
he said that the reason they're not doing a story is because in games like this, most people don't play stories, like in Battlefield and things like that. But this is Star Wars, like most people would jump on that shit.
You have got so much material
Yeah.
in there. You've got so much potential for a Star Wars story, and you're not going to take it. It's just it's crazy, and that's not actually. I don't actually think that's fair, because I mean, the biggest criticism with something like Titanfall was it was just online.
Yeah.
That was it. That was all you did. You played shooting matches over and over and over again, and not very long shooting matches either. There were 5 minutes at most, and you just do the same thing over and over and over again. That is very quickly, I think, what Battlefront will become.
Yeah.
It'll be well hyped for about a year, and then after that, I think it's just gonna, kind of
fade away. Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
I think the thing, like, I'll be honest with what I've heard of, from YouTubers that have played the game and like reviewers and things like that, and members of the press that have played it, is that you can tell that they didn't want to do space battles from day one, because the flying apparently in it is a joke. Like the way it's controlled is like one thumbstick, the right one is control. You got to hold that up to control your speed,
right?
And then you turn with your left thumbstick, and
Yeah.
you just turn left and right or up and down or whatever, and do your trajectory, and then shoot with the buttons on X, whatever, shooting which one you want to select. So you got to kind of hold your thumb up on the right thumbstick and then curl your fingers over to do it like that. And people have said that it feels weird, completely weird. And I've heard, I know that the Star Wars, fanboys that have played it,
Yeah.
they've said oh, it's awesome, it's Star Wars, it's great. And then a lot of people that I've heard of it's been really mixed up. I ain't heard one person come out and say it, he was kind of fairly, even. He doesn't really care about Star Wars, or who all kind of cares about the FPS who's come out and gone like, yeah, that was incredible. That was like absolutely fantastic. What I've heard is it's either all right or it's shit.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of, oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
And it certainly looks the part. It looks. Like,
I'll be honest with you, the way they've shot it and everything, you know, with people running past it and the music and everything, it does look like Star Wars. And like, if I was a big Star Wars fan, I'd be like, oh, this looks great, it's going to be like this. But the fact is that the game is not going to be like that, because you know it's not going to be that organised where people are running past you in a certain way, and like you're going up in a certain style. Because you know all them things are set up.
yeah,
you know?
no, it was completely. That was the problem. It was completely fake.
Yeah.
With the E3 demo, they might as well have just given us a trailer.
Yeah, or a cutscene, because it pretty much was a cutscene, because, you know, like, I know that, like, it looks good, it looks like Star Wars, like, I know George said, oh, that looks really good, that looks like Star Wars, like, George, the game is not going to be like that.
No, the game will never be like
Yeah.
that, and you will never get in an environment where the game is like that.
Yeah,
You just can't set up organised teams.
yeah,
You know, it's quite obvious that was produced in a sterile environment.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a testament to the fact that they can't get good gameplay footage
yeah,
if they did it naturally. Because I mean, in a story mode, I mean, okay, when they do a story trailer at E3, you're never going to get that exact E3 gameplay when you play it. But very often they get damn close.
yeah,
I like a story kind of driven shooter like Halo, for example. Halo 4 and Halo. I can't speak for Halo 5 yet, but Halo 4's E3 demo, you could play that mission.
Yeah.
You couldn't play all of it. There was one bit where you get pikeyed by a group of Promethean knights, but you know that bit isn't in that level because you know it had no bearing on the story, and for all the world it looked like Chief was about to get killed.
yeah,
You know, they cut that bit out, but you could play that environment.
yeah,
And the story felt like that, and those things that were happened in the game. So,
Yeah.
you know, you had interesting things like a Promethean flying thing would pick up a grenade and throw it back at you. Or you had them using drop shields, and you got an experience of the new enemies, the new guns, the graphics, that kind of thing.
yeah,
But I didn't get any of that with the demo.
no,
You know, because it wasn't a demo. It was a run on rails kind of computer generated thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think the game is going to look like that actually.
no. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
So, I just want to. I'm just going to quickly skip some of this stuff because you know we're kind of running kind of quickly on time. So, there's an ESO expansion released. If you want to play that, play it, but it's still going to be crap.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4 has got a release date of March 18th. The Dishonored, what was it, the kind of remastered edition or whatever,
Yep.
that came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Always worth a go. You should get that if you like.
Yep. Deadpool is coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, which is interesting. I think that's something we can maybe save for the movie section. Actually,
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the movie section, yeah. And Guild Wars 2 has gone free to play. Okay, I just want to quickly talk about Legion, which is the new World of Warcraft expansion. I just want to bring up two things.
Right.
Well, three things. There's a new class in there called Demon Hunter, which you know people can play and will be fun.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yep.
Yeah, and the new level cap is 110, and where it was previously 100. And I remember when Laugh of the Rich King came out in 2007, when they said when we get to level 100, cap at level 100, we're just going to stop there because that's as far as we're going to go. They've gone to 110. And there's new dungeons and raids going out, as you can guess. But the biggest thing, and I don't know if you've heard the backlash about this, but there's a character that was in Cataclysm, which is one of the Illidan, is now apparently alive. Okay, and this is bullshit because I killed him and I looted him. You know, back in like 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
So-
I think a lot of people did that. Yeah, I think it was Hundar I was watching on Machinima, who was just like, which is a big problem for most people because we killed him.
Yeah. And like, I know that I'm not really interested in the World of Warcraft story, but a lot of people that are have said that they're doing this bullshit big time, you know, bringing back characters that have died before because they're kind of running out of ideas. And, you know, he just happens to be alive.
It just so happens that when you beheaded him,
Yeah.
that didn't actually kill him.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
So, We'll talk about these last two topics, the Deus Ex and Assassin's Creed. So we'll quickly talk about Deus Ex, the ranked pre-order kind of thing, where I said to you about the 5 stages of pre-order.
Yeah.
So many people pre-order it that goes into the next stage and you pick something. How stupid do you think this is?
I'm like I said to you, I'm gonna pre-order the game so that someone in China can get it 4 days early.
Yep.
Am I really gonna want to do that? Is anyone gonna want to do that?
No. No,
I mean,
like I said to you before the game, before we went on, it's just people advertising the game for the company because they want to get to the next stage, and then and you're not really deciding what you're going to get in the game. You're deciding what you're not going to get.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're missing out on all this stuff. It's like this is worse to me than like store exclusives. If you buy from this shop, you get this certain mission in the game.
Yeah. No, the problem for me is, well, actually, no, it's not a problem. If you think about it, it's a solution. People could just mash the pre-order button on Amazon.
Yeah.
Until it gets to like level 5, then pre-order it and then cancel all those previous ones.
Yeah.
That's just the way to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to get it 4 days early, just mash the pre-order button. It's a stupid idea. They don't want to pay for the actual kind of advertisements. They're going to make people do it for them.
Yep.
I mean, who honestly is going to go into school or college or wherever or their work and go, hey, I just pre-ordered the new Deus Ex game. You pre-order it as well, it will get up to level 2, which means that we'll get that mission.
Yeah, we can either get that mission or them boots, and I like them boots.
Yeah, those boots look nice.
Yeah.
Or we get that new kind of that new character skin, or the augment you get that'll actually be diamonds rather than gold. So, we've got to pre-order this game.
And there's people doing pretty much what you said there online, on Reddit or comments on YouTube, going oh, the new Deus Ex looks absolutely fantastic, and they're pretty much trying to sell the game, and having debates with people who are saying it looks shit, and this is just, it's got people talking about it, I suppose. So it might have done what it's aimed to do.
Yeah,
but
Deus Ex is not a bad game.
Oh no, I've only played one, which was well, let me get up on my Steam which one it was, and I quite enjoyed it, to be honest with you. And it wasn't the very first one is deemed as the best, isn't it?
Yeah, it always is, isn't it? In a series. The first one is always the best.
Yeah, except Elder Scrolls.
Except Elder Scrolls and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Yes. So. Right, should we go on to Assassin's Creed? That's a good segue.
Yeah.
So, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is predicted. This is predicted by Business Insider, Financial Times, and GameSpot commenting on this. It's predicted to be the worst-selling Assassin's Creed game since its inception.
Worst selling.
The worst selling. I put worst Assassin's Creed game. Worst selling. Yeah. So it's not. It's projected to not sell as good as the previous. How many is the 7?
Yeah, 7. I'm not surprised in the slightest.
No.
I think it's... I don't even... I was going to say I think it's a shame. I don't even think it's a shame anymore. I just don't like the franchise anymore. I just don't like it. It's... gameplay-wise, it's not bad. That is true. It's not bad. But are people really going to want to buy a game that's annualized when it came out last year to such negative reviews?
Yeah.
Both games came out to such, I think, quite negative reviews. I mean, I heard Rogue did all right.
Rogue did okay.
Rogue did okay comparatively.
Yeah.
I think. Rogue on its own is a pretty poor game.
Mm.
It did nothing it was set up to do. The gameplay was just ripped straight from other games. There was no innovation, really, except the air rifle, which was just another weapon.
Yeah.
And it's left yet more threads unpulled.
Yeah.
There's just they've just opened and made an even more messy and already messy timeline.
Yeah.
And it was frankly a shameless cash grab.
Yeah.
I think, is my problem with it. And let's not forget, it was a very short game.
Mm.
There were only 6 sequences in it.
Yeah.
The average Assassin's Creed game has 13. It had no DLC either.
No.
Jeez. Oh, God. Sorry. And Shay was not a very good character.
No. Wasn't he? Isn't he Irish?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Shay Patrick Cormac. He could have been really interesting,
yeah.
but he wasn't.
Like I
Instead,
remember watching Let's Play, and the only interesting mission that looked like to me was the one, do you know, when he goes to Lisbon
yeah,
and he
yeah,
goes to the, was it a church, and he's
yeah.
finding his way in. That mission looked kind of interesting, but that was kind of the only one.
Mm.
Like I'll say it to you time and time again. I actually liked Unity, even though people didn't.
Yeah,
You know?
I thought Unity was all right as a game.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like Assassin's Creed.
No,
Sorry,
well, like, yes, it's okay. Like, and the part that I really liked about it was I liked, you know, the story was a bit flat, and the character was a bit flat, and you know, the world got a bit repetitive after a while. But the idea that there's so many different ways that you can get into buildings and different ways you can do missions and kind of assassinate people or learn information or wait until you go into a confession box and kill them that way, I really enjoyed. I actually like that. The first time in Assassin's Creed since Brotherhood, every assassination mission I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, it got a little bit repetitive of him. Oh, you go kill a guy, you hear about someone else, you find more about that guy, you find someone who's got ties in with that guy, and then you find that guy and you kill him.
Mm.
You know, but the co-op missions were really fun. I know me and George were going to do them at one point, but he never did. But I played them online with strangers, and you know, they were really good. You know, the co-op missions, how you could, like, you know, sneak into like a chasm under Paris and find someone and kill someone. They were really good, and they've taken them out for Syndicate because they're saying they're focusing completely on the single player, which, to be honest, they need to do. But this one, it just doesn't look good to me. This one, and like, I will be honest with you, I'll probably end up getting it in, but this is not one I'm going to be getting at release.
Yeah, it's too little, too late to do what people have always wanted them to do.
Yeah, and
which is Victorian London.
Yeah,
and it's the wrong kind of Victorian London.
Yeah,
I mean, it's this kind of, they set up this this cliche and boring, just cheesy story about the poor old working class.
Yeah,
who are being oppressed by the rich landowners, which is starting to sound worryingly communist.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Assassin's Creed is starting to sound like a left-wing diatribe. You know, it's getting really disturbing. And I used to love this franchise, but it's just gone up its own arse.
Yeah.
Really
it has. Like, there's been... And like, I've seen people slag off Assassin's Creed as a series a lot, but when they've said that there's been no good Assassin's Creed game, like, one that jumped out to me was George when he called Ubisoft the worst developer in gaming. But, like, which is completely false, because there's been some great Assassin's Creed games, you know?
Yeah, totally. Assassin's Creed 2.
Brotherhood.
Yeah, Brotherhood was fantastic. I enjoyed Revelations. It wasn't the best, that's for sure.
I still haven't played Revelations. I still need to finish the first one, because I'm playing the first one at the minute.
Alright.
Yeah.
I thought Assassin's Creed 4... I remember talking to you about it. I said I didn't like it.
I loved it
when we first met, but I do have to kind of recant on that, because I do like Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
Although I didn't think it was good in terms of an assassin game.
Oh no, it was great as a pirate game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'll be honest with you, every pirate battle I had, I thoroughly enjoyed in that game, and it was the first game, like real game other than FIFA, that I played on the PS4.
Yeah.
And I completed that, like, it was the quickest I've completed an Assassin's Creed game. I completed it in like a week. Because I had that much fun with it. I didn't want to go off it, you know? Like, it was similar to me with Batman Arkham Knight. Like, I played Arkham Knight about 6-hour sessions at a time, you know? I was that interested in it. And I loved it that much, you know?
When I was playing Assassin's Creed 4, I couldn't help going around clearing the entire map.
Exactly.
Just stopping at the random little islands where it says there's a treasure chest there. Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll just loot it.
No problem. Or you just say you see like a weak enemy ship crossing you, just on its own, you're like, oh, there's going to be some good stuff on that I'm going to have to take, and then you attack it quickly and you get it.
And it's way out your way as well. It's the way you've come, and you go, oh, there's a following headwind. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. And you turn around and you go right the way back to kill that shit. Yeah, yes, that is great.
And even I actually enjoyed the locations as well. You know, I like Kingston. I thought Kingston was a good place. I thought the little cities on some of the islands were interesting. I even thought some of the characters were interested in it. Like, who's the boy girl? James, was it? James Kidd.
James Kidd. No.
Yeah, he was good. Blackbeard was interesting.
Yeah. Anne Bonny, Calico Jack.
Yeah, there's interesting characters, and my favourite one was Adewale. He was my quartermaster. What a guy!
Yeah,
like
yeah,
him.
he's awesome.
What a dude! What a dude! And it was my favourite Assassin's Creed game for the pirate aspect, and you know there was quite a few moments where you know you jump from ship to ship and doing some epic assassination. You're just like, this feels great. Where I didn't have that at all in 3.
I don't know, except for the battle.
Except for the ship battle. Yeah, the ship battle was the only good part for me.
Well, there was Assassin's Creed 3 was felt more assassiny.
It did, but
sitting around watching and waiting, but that's not fun.
Yeah, I was bored. I finished 3 like I know George didn't finish 3. I think George quit like 2 hours in.
Really?
Yeah, like he quit. You know, the first hunting part.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him there.
Yeah,
I struggled. I really enjoyed 3 for the story. I thought the story was really clever, really well done, really deep, really thought through. But there was no follow up. And bless you.
thank you.
And yeah, and I thought in terms of gameplay it was underwhelming.
It was definitely I got sick of walking on the ground in an Assassin's Creed game.
I got sick. I tell you what I got sick of was everything you did raised your wanted level.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It just you could do anything, and all of a sudden you'd be level 3. You couldn't walk anywhere because everyone would jump at you and attack you. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you'd have to climb on the roof. And you'd have to run across the ceilings and stuff. But in order to, you know, run across the roofs and houses and that kind of thing, you would have to be dodging musket fire.
Yeah.
Every way you went. There was no free aim. Free aim in that game was a joke.
Yeah.
It's awful. It felt like they tried to go with a different gameplay direction, which I appreciated because I thought the free running was really good and it looked really natural, but it was unfinished. You know what I mean? And it was really well improved upon in Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
Look, it was really good. Everything in Assassin's Creed 4 polished. The graphics were beautiful. Even though it was it came out, you know, I got it on 360. Yeah. I got it on 360. Even on, you know, the 360 version, it still looked beautiful in comparison to the next gen.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it was great. Assassin's Creed 4 was great. Assassin's Creed 3, problematic, but I still really liked it for its story.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to movies.
Yes.
Fantastic Four, we've been waiting for this.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You go, and I'll comment.
Singly the worst film I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
I won't go that far. I
yeah?
wouldn't say it was as bad as Batman and Robin.
Oh wait, no, hang on. Singly the second worst film I have ever seen in my entire life. Right? Because I couldn't laugh at it. It was so bad I couldn't laugh at it. I was just there I was there thinking, Josh Trank, you poor man. What have Fox done to you?
Oh god.
They have ruined what sounded like a very promising project. You know, when you hear all the ideas he had and where it sounded like it was going, really interesting. I was watching a YouTuber called Mr. Sunday Movies. Don't know whether you've heard of him.
I've heard of him. Yeah, I haven't really watched his stuff.
He does a lot of comic book stuff, and he released a video. I think it was either called What's Wrong with Fantastic Four.
I did see that video. See that video. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 minutes of laying out basically everything that had gone wrong with it, and it's flawless logic.
Yeah.
But I kind of I was watching Angry Joe's review of it, and it was hilarious. You know, other Joe was brilliant. This movie had action, drama, comedy, you know, a great story, great acting, and then Joe made us watch Fantastic Four. You know, I kind of disagreed with them slightly in that they were kind of dissing it to the point of everything about it was bad. Not everything about it was bad, but enough about it was bad to make it a terrible film.
Yeah, he made me laugh. Joe made me laugh when he was on about when he says like you know the superhero films like Marvel's superhero films normally have, you know, really good action and really good comedy. This film does not have those. Do not watch it. And then you just see Delriff in the back and go no.
Yeah. I would not recommend that to my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Like, the CGI was good, other than the monkey.
Oh, yeah.
Other than the monkey.
Oh, other than that monkey was terrible.
Yeah.
And the bit where he fell into the weird fire, Von Doom fell into the
Yeah.
fire. That was bad, but everything else was very good.
Yeah. I actually thought that the villain was frightening, even though there wasn't enough of him in the film. There was nowhere near enough of him.
No. The problem with him was you're right, he was a good villain.
Yeah.
And it showed up, I think, a lot of the weaknesses in a lot of Marvel movies. Like, we went to see Ant-Man just before, and Yellow Jacket, compared to him, was a terrible villain. Yeah. There was no threat, no menace, no fear there. With Von Doom, you had a very real sense of fear.
Yeah, like when he killed the bloke.
Yeah. Made him explode in his suit, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like, shit.
Yeah, you're like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But then here's the other problem, the added problem. He has these godlike powers. Why doesn't he just use it on the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
You know, where was that? I thought the biggest problem with the film was the fact that its first hour, 45 minutes was laboured but promising.
Yeah.
And then its last half an hour felt like an entirely different film.
Yeah, it's set up like a 3.5 hour film, and then it finishes at 2 hours 15.
And it doesn't even finish at 2 hours 15.
It
was 100 minutes long.
Finishes at like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah. Do you remember? Right. I got up at I think it must have been. I think it was about 70 minutes in. And
because I was like, oh, right, stuff's gonna start happening now. You know?
Yeah,
He's like, this might be okay. So they set up all the characters, and I've got no problem with character development at all. You know, take the time. You know,
and I thought honestly, when they did that 1 year later thing, I thought genuinely a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, they skip out the training segments, which have become a cliche of superhero origin movies. They skip out all that. All of a sudden, there they are, kitted out with all their gear. They've learned how to control their powers. They've got this kind of animosity towards Reed Richards, who's run off and left them. Okay, that's an interesting idea. And then 1 year later, flashes up on the screen, and you feel like you've tuned into a different film.
Yeah, like I went, like you went, I was like, and then you went to me. You know, there's only 20 minutes left of this film.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that was it. I was like, you know, I was just looking at it. There's only half an hour left.
Yeah.
You know? And you went, what?
Yeah, I was like,
we're only halfway through.
I thought I thought there was a lot more to do. Like set up the villain, you know, and then it could have been. If it was longer, it could have been better than what it was. You know what it was. Like it's because it's such a shit ending. You know, it's like that sounds pretty fantastic. It's like, what was that? It sounds pretty fantastic. And then it got Fantastic Four. I was like,
you're like, oh no. Also, thankfully, this is one thing they did right. No end credit scene.
Yeah, we waited.
We waited. Yeah. We wasted our time.
Yeah, I was like, there could have been if there was an end credit scene. That could have been the best part of the damn film.
Yeah, a Stanley cameo to salvage what was an awful film.
The best Stanley cameo was the one in Ant-Man when he's talking. You know, when he's part of the story. That was funny. Yeah. But I don't know why he didn't do it. I mean, he must have thought this film is shit. I'm not having any part of it.
Yeah, apparently he just didn't want to do one. He said I don't like it. Apparently I read somewhere that he did have a cameo,
but they cut it out.
because they had the Josh Trank said that he had a great film all lined up and ready to go. But now no one will ever see it.
Yeah, then why didn't release that?
Yeah. Well, I think what's happened is Fox have taken it, and they just decided to tack on a different bit of the film.
Yeah,
made no sense.
It's a wonder how X-Men is so good.
Yeah, you know? It is. I think this guy, Mr. Sunday Movie, said something interesting. He said directors like Bryan Singer, pretty big on X-Men, and Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah,
they have earned their kind of place as directors without without a lot of oversight, because they're trusted by Fox to do a good job.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think Josh Trank was. I mean, he had one film, Chronicle, which was excellent. I think have you seen that?
I haven't seen Chronicle, no.
Right. Well, it's definitely worth a watch, and that will give you an idea. I think what he wanted Fantastic Four to be.
Yeah.
When you watch Chronicle, and I was watching the trailers of Fantastic Four, and I was thinking, if this is the same guy, if he's gone along the same lines, Chronicle was disturbing, but Chronicle was fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good, really interesting film, indie film, and it's almost found footage kind of style, really cleverly shot.
Yeah.
Really well done, and a really good film. Compared to that, Fantastic Four came in well under par. Because, I mean, I think what happened was they took a look, did Fox at Josh Trank and said, yeah, you're good, we'll give you a job. Your job's, making a new Fantastic Four film. But we don't like the way you're going with this,
Yeah.
and, we'll just give you a bit of steer. You don't
Hollywood
really know how
bullshit at the end of the day, yeah.
works, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was this kind of shoehorning of lots of different. I'm not sure why, but there was this kind of shoehorning of multi-ethnic characters in there, like not just Johnny Storm, but Sue Storm as well, who all of a sudden was from Kosovo with no accent, and she went from having tied up natural blonde hair to a straw blonde wig halfway through the film, and then she'd switch back to natural blonde hair.
Oh god,
it was ridiculous. The final fight between Von Doom and the Fantastic Four was the most tacked-on bullshit I think I've ever seen.
It was dreadful.
I went to the toilet. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Just as Von Doom was going on his rampage. And he killed Franklin Storm. Oh, spoiler alert for anyone misguided.
Who gives a shit? Come on, yeah.
He just killed Franklin Storm. And as I was going out to the toilet, I think, hang on a sec, he's going to kill Franklin Storm for a fact. I come back in, there's Franklin Storm dead. And Storm going, I'm sorry. For what? What are you sorry for? It made no sense.
It was possibly the worst superhero film that I've seen in 10 years. It's either that or Green Lantern.
Yeah, totally.
Well, like I said to you, this had a little bit of this did have potential. Like it did show glimpses of chances of it being good, but the fact is, it wasn't. And like
that scene where they had them all, when they just kind of got back from the other dimension and they were crawling, and Reed Richards was crawling out of the machine to try and get to Ben, who was speaking out of this rock, and Johnny, whose body was burning, he was on fire, and he looks around and his body is stretched.
Yeah,
you're like, jeez, that's creepy.
Yeah,
and you're like, wow, and then they're all laid on the different tables, and Ben is still stuck in a rock.
I still don't know how Sue Storm became invisible though.
That made no sense.
Yeah, she's just in the room.
She was in the room at the time. By that logic,
there
was a beetle in the room at the time.
Yeah.
So you never know. We might actually see in the next Fantastic Four the super villain known as Beetle. Yeah, there is actually one, I think.
Yeah.
Beetle one. No. It's Beetle, and then he became Mac 1 later on. Never mind. Ignore me.
Okay. Anyway.
If there is a sequel...
There is a sequel, confirmed, 2017.
But can you imagine anyone wanting to attach themselves to that project?
I don't know, if they're contractually obliged to it, they might have to.
Yeah. But you see, the thing is, it didn't quite deserve 14 out of 100.
No.
I don't think it's bad enough for 14 out of 100. But for some reason, that made it worse.
Yeah.
Because it was there was just this there's just something you couldn't quite put your finger on about it that was just disappointing on every level.
I think that one of the main things is that it was trying to be funny and it wasn't.
Yeah, like the black guy kind of jokes with him going...
Putting a hand out and then him shaking the fist or something like that. Or...
and him being a street racer.
Yeah, and him being a street racer and how he's now working on a fucking... portal.
The worst one, the interdimensional portals, because that's a natural leap. The worst one was how Ben Grimm got his catchphrase. It's clobbering time. He got it from his brother who used to beat him. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, that's awful. You know. Also, there was no kind of thing with Von Doom where it was like, yeah, Von Doom is, yeah, Von Doom and Reed Richards hate each other and are fighting over Sue Storm's affection. There was none of that.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, you know, set something up, because it felt like he was going for a ham-fisted kind of, he likes Sue Storm. It felt like he was going for that, but then drops it halfway through, and all of a sudden they're all chummy and are eating Chinese food together.
Yeah.
Oh, it just, and then the worst part, he was playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yeah.
I think that was, you know, just me picking out a kind of being picky, basically. He was sat there on his computer playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Number one, sin. He's playing it on PC. If anyone knows anything about Unity, don't play it on PC. Number two, the game's not even out yet.
Oh god. Yeah, but like, one thing that sort of stands out to me is like, I remember, you know, she's on about music, and she's like trying to give this. You know, like sometimes in films they give a speech and you like sit back and like think about life. It sounds like I was trying to be one of those, and then. Yeah, an interstellar speech. And then she goes on about music is just patterns, and then we wait and anticipate for those patterns, and the greatest musicians know what to do with those patterns. And then I just remember looking across to you and you went, God, and put your head in your hands.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Anyway, what would you give it out of 10? Fantastic Four.
2 out of 10. For plot devices started, not finished, which was good CGI.
I agree completely. 2 out of 10. I was going to give it that as well. Okay, before we go into any of the film, have you seen anything like of note since?
I'm so glad you asked. What do you mean, new releases or
new releases?
Okay. I've seen Interstellar, which I thought was phenomenal.
Fantastic film.
God, do you know what I mean when I say it was terrifying? Just because it was so
the suspense.
No, yeah, not just that, but because it was so cosmic.
Yeah.
So big. And you're like, wow.
And I think the main part is because she genuinely cared about the characters.
Yeah, you get this sense of awe, and you get this really kind of great acting.
Yeah.
You know, from Matthew McConaughey, because the only other thing I've seen him in is Sahara, which I thought was meh, you know. But in this, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
You know? And was it Jessica Chastain?
Jessica Chastain She was Murphy, who was his daughter.
Yeah, she was good. I thought she was really good. Michael Caine.
I thought Matt Damon was good at his part as well.
Sorry?
I thought Matt Damon was good at his part.
Oh, yeah, Matt Damon. Because the first thing I ever saw him in was Bourne. Right?
Yeah.
I never knew he was. I just seriously thought he was muscle. You know, like Channing Tatum. I was surprised with Channing Tatum as well.
Yeah.
But it turned out he's a really good actor.
Yeah, well, like the first thing I ever saw him in was Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Where in there he's kind of like the joke kind of character, you know, the one to take the piss out of. Yeah. And he was good in that as well, and he's funny,
yeah.
and he, like you know the bit when he's trying to latch onto the space thing that they've got. Yes. The kind of spaceship that they're using, and he's trying to latch onto it, and you're like, shit, don't latch on, and then he just turns around and he just explodes. And the fact that it doesn't use a sound for the explosion, and he just goes, like, I think that has more of an impact than what it would have if there was a sound.
Yeah, it was really, really scientific film.
Yeah.
I mean, even right down to the explanations. You know, the explanation of the black hole.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done, because, you know, it's just kind of, and simply explained as well, because, you know, you expect it to be some kind of, for the wormhole, you expect it to be some kind of, you do expect it to be some kind of, you know, portal, like it is in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Which is, like, completely two-dimensional. But actually it's not, it's spherical, and it explains why it's spherical.
Yeah.
It's really well done, you know? Really, really clever. And when he's in the fifth dimension and all that gravity stuff, and manipulating it from outside time. Wow.
It gets a bit fucked up there. Like every Christopher Nolan film, you know. Like Inception was a big one, where near the end you're just like, fuck it, you know.
Yeah, all right,
I've got all this way.
Yeah, I give up. I tried hard. I'm sorry, Christopher, you've beaten me again. I'm just going to sit back and
enjoy the ride.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, like he goes like, how come he's behind the closet now? And he's like, magic. Who knows?
Who the fuck cares anymore? Just watch the film.
It's a good film, Dad. Yeah, it's a great film.
I
Great film.
really,
That's a full. I gave that a 10 out of 10 on IMDb, and I don't give that to many things.
No, I would totally give it a 10 out of 10. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right, another good one.
Yep.
We talked about this before. Firefly.
Oh yeah, TV show. Yeah.
God, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's right. I'm gonna lay it out for you. Came out in 2001. CGI is not great. It's very low budget. It's quite obvious, but it's got 9 of the best developed characters ever in just ever. I think.
Yeah.
It's set on this little dinky Firefly class ship called Serenity. You're following these 6, I think, bandits, or they're smugglers basically, not bandits, they're smugglers.
Yeah.
And they just take work wherever they can find it. They're looking for passengers because they want the money, they need the money, and they take on 3 new passengers who stick. A preacher called Shepherd Book, and a doctor and his sister, who is recovering from some kind of mental trauma. They're both on the run. And Shepherd Book is another character with very, very interesting kind of with a very interesting background. He's supposed to be this priest kind of guy, but he also knows a lot about guns and gangsters and can track people and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one of his best lines is probably one of the crew says to him, he loads a gun and he's going to help rescue the captain from this this guy called Niska, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And he's going to help him. And one of the crew turns to him and says, "Preacher, are you sure you want to do this? I mean, I'm pretty sure the Bible is pretty specific on killing." Shepherd Book loads his gun and he said, "Oh yes, it is, but it's distinctly fuzzier on the subject of kneecapping, so I think I'll be all right." It's really good, really funny, very light-hearted, really, really strong series. Shame it only lasted for 1 season.
Yeah.
Really, really is. But the follow-on film they made from it called Serenity, very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very sad though, because I mean, there's a lot of key kill-offs.
Mm.
I mean, it's been 10 years, so if you haven't watched it, where have you been? But two of the main characters in particular are just unceremoniously killed off.
Yeah.
And you're there like, no. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But also great. It's definitely worth your time, worth a watch. If you enjoyed Star Trek, I think you will really like Firefly.
Yeah, it'll probably something I'll give a go after I've finished, all the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into that at the minute.
Yeah.
And we talked about in the last podcast, so I won't talk about that. Anything else that you've seen?
Gotham.
Gotham, yeah.
Gotham's alright. Not great, but it shares one of the kind of defining features with Firefly. Marina Baccarin, one of the actresses.
Is
Right.
she the Mafia lady?
No, that's Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh.
Marina Baccarin, she is playing Copycat in Deadpool. Right. She was in Stargate. Just Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Stargate, SG-1. She does sci-fi mainly. She was in V at Firefly, and now she's in Gotham as well. Yeah, she's really good in it. But one of the things I've noticed about the performance about the program she's in, they either go on too long with Stargate SG-1 or don't go on long enough.
Yeah.
Firefly and V, right? So I'm thinking with Deadpool, if that carries over, Deadpool will either go on too long, there will be like 6 Deadpool films.
Yeah.
By which point you become distinctly bored with it, or there will only be 1 Deadpool film.
Yeah.
It won't be long enough. So there we go. I don't know if it's anything she's doing, but the project she's in, they've got that kind of thing about them.
Yeah.
There we go. That's just my 2 cents on the issue.
Okay. So, anything else you've seen?
No, I think that's about it. I've pre-ordered Age of Ultron, so that's coming in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know you've been watching Star Trek, but have you been watching anything else?
I've been watching Star Trek, and I talked about it on the last podcast. So, to be honest, I'm still the same. You know, I really like the original series. What series did you think was the best? I thought Series 2 was my favourite. I thought that had like more consistently the best episodes.
I would agree, but some of the best were in Series 1. I thought, Balance of Terror. The first introduction of the Romulans, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
Just really, really good.
Yeah.
And there are other ones. I thought Charlie X was an alright episode.
I like that episode.
Yeah, the one with the weird kid.
Yeah.
But it's like I was saying to you before, they're a very mixed bag. And that carries over to the films and to the rest of the series, I would have said.
Yeah.
Next Generation, I really didn't like.
No.
Everybody raves about it, but I do not get why. I just thought all the crew came across as sanctimonious pricks, frankly. Particularly Picard. Although it had some excellent episodes, like particularly the ones with the Borg, which are like these cyborgs, and they're just terrifying. They used to
that's always like resistance is futile.
Yeah, they used to terrify the living crap out of me. Honestly, Deep Space Nine, another one. That only really gets good after season 5.
Yeah.
Because suddenly they go to war with the Dominion, which is alien antagonist. Voyager could have been really good, but was really crap.
I've heard that, and I've heard that Enterprise was a bit shit.
Enterprise was great, actually. I loved it.
Okay.
Well, in my opinion, it really didn't go on very long, I think, because I think they tried very hard to disassociate themselves from the other series that had come before. I think maybe because they were a bit embarrassed by it or something, but it didn't curry much favour with fans. Understandably, I think. I personally really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a bit of a fresh take because it's set before original series.
Yeah.
And the CGI is good. It's up to date. Good stories, particularly in seasons 3 and 4, which are the last two. The end of season 2, Earth is attacked by a race of aliens they've never encountered before called the Xindi, who are going to basically destroy Earth because they believe that they've seen from these celestial beings, I think, that Earth is that humans are going to destroy the Xindi.
Yeah.
And it just kind of follows on from that. Really, really interesting season, and they go into this uncharted part of space that they can't normally cross through. Yeah, that they can't normally cross through, and so they're trapped on the other side, and they're stuck there trying to work out how they're going to get back and defeat the Xindi. While the ship is falling apart, they have to make difficult choices. And the crew are kind of falling apart as well, particularly the Vulcan. Is she ambassador by that point? I don't know. I think she's a science officer, like Spock, basically.
Okay, yeah.
But she's not part of Starfleet, and her name's T'Pol, and she's been exposed to this drug, and she basically becomes a drug addict and is being driven slightly insane. So, really interesting season. It is worth your time, worth a watch. Actually. Yeah. Really good. I really liked it. In fact, I think I might watch it again now.
So, okay, right. What film? No, sorry. What Star Trek film would you say is your favourite? What series would you say is the best? From the not these are excluding the new 2.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's difficult. That's really difficult in terms of film.
Yeah.
Right. Right. It would either be Wrath of Khan, Undiscovered Country. Is it it is Undiscovered Country. Or Voyage Home, or Star Trek Nemesis or Star Trek First Contact. I'm going to have to go with Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan. That's the second one, I believe.
Yes, Wrath of Khan. Yeah. It's you remember the episode Space Seed?
I do.
Khan, Noonien and Singh, right? Well, it just follows on from there.
Yeah.
And Khan decides he wants revenge on Kirk because he thinks Kirk double-crossed him. You'll see why.
Okay.
And really, really interesting because it's got this kind of... They only ever talk ship to ship, and they never meet in person. And it's just this kind of battle of wits.
Yeah.
Which is ongoing, and it's just really, really interesting, really tense. Not, as you can guess, by Shatner's kind of overacting, not the best acted film in the world. You know, you've got lots of fire.
I love his voice. It's like great time.
Yeah, yeah. Gun! You actually get that at one point. Like, wow. Yeah, it's a great film. Great film. And if you watch that one, you'll be able to understand a lot of the references, and you'll be able to appreciate more Star Trek Into Darkness, which is the latest Star Trek film.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of references in there. A lot of references.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch all the I'm gonna watch it all in order, do you know?
Yeah.
And then get to the new ones eventually. But like, which was the episode of the original series where Kirk's kind of arguing to get onto a planet? He's arguing like on a board. It's basically the whole episode. He's arguing with.
Yes. That was.
I forgot.
Court Martial. Court Martial.
Yeah, that was one of my favourite episodes.
That was fantastic.
It was incredible.
That was the only two-parter they did, and that. Do you know why they did that episode?
Why?
Because they never ran the pilot episode when it came out.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the unaired pilot. Yeah.
They changed. They changed from Pike to Kirk because the guy who was playing Pike got the part of Jesus actually in another adaptation of the Bible story or something like that.
Yeah.
But so he turned down the Star Trek role to go and do that, and they gave it to Kirk instead, and decided to fast forward it 10 years.
Yeah.
He
died, didn't he? The guy who played the guy in the unaired pilot. He died in an accident in the film. He was like in a car or something, then accidentally exploded.
I think he did, yeah. And so that's why they decided to go with the paralysed guy.
Yeah.
So they tried to piece together that. So they were taking basically all the footage they had because they lost most of it.
Yeah.
They were trying to piece together all the footage they had to make a serviceable episode. They decided to show the pilot that way by introducing Pike latterly.
Yeah.
As the disabled guy. But yeah, I thought that was I agree with you on that.
That was one of my favourites. Like, and I remember thinking, you know, after a while, I was thinking, like, is this going to be it? And then it just got more interesting as it went on, and I really liked it. And they were kind of my favourite episodes, I think. You know, the more diplomatic one. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Yeah, because like, it wasn't coming up on the thing. And like, they were a bit more, I don't know, diplomatic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, where you were getting into the politics of the races.
Yeah, which I enjoyed, because you know, it was kind of a bit more territory which you didn't know about, and you know, you learn more new stuff.
Well, I think Next Generation is a lot like that.
Yeah.
There's I think Enterprise goes more for which is the not very good one, I suppose. That goes more for action.
Yeah. I don't know if I think I prefer the more talky episodes, if that makes sense, than the yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I prefer action episodes.
Yeah.
But ones with a bit of threat in them, like the one where they tried to steal the cloaking device. That one's really good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's because that gets the right blend, doesn't it? You've got Spock being all diplomatic while Kirk's off sabotaging the Romulans.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a great series.
It really is.
It's a great show.
Stood the test of time, I think.
It has, yeah. I think it stood up really well. Like, I was watching it, and like, you know, for the stuff that I've normally seen from like the 60s and 70s, this like stands up a lot better.
It does.
Do. Like, anyway, what else have I seen? I'll quickly go through this. I saw in cinema the new release. You know that film, the cartoon film Inside Out?
Yeah.
Yeah. My 7-year-old cousin, he wanted to watch it, and like he kind of, I don't know. Do you know like when they idolise an older cousin or an older relative?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that with me. Kind of, I don't know. I think he sees me play guitar a lot, and he thinks I'm cool. Yeah, but
how little he knows.
Yeah. I said that to his mum. Yeah. So I thought like I'll go with him because it looked funny, and I thought why not? I was bored, so I thought I'll go. It's incredible. It's really good. Yeah, it's so funny, and like do you know Disney Pixar films are generally good anyway?
Yeah. Like cars and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but like this one is like do you know emotions inside someone's head,
and
it's really funny how it plays on it. You know, like
because you've got joy and sadness. They get
joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear. And
is Joy the one voiced by Amy Poehler?
Yeah. But then you've got an imaginary friend called Bongo Bongo, who like who's like walking around. He kind of been distracted. Who's walking around trying to pick stuff up, and like he's no longer part of Riley's life because Riley's gotten older. And you're like, no, you're gonna fade away because he fade. It's like if you watch it, it's really good. Like I walked out of it, and I enjoyed it more than he did. My cousin, I walked out of it and I was like, that was quality. And he was like, it was alright. I was like, what do you mean it was alright? It's funny as well, like, and if you think about it, like, it kind of applies to real life a bit, and she moves to a completely new town, but like, sadness accidentally touches the memory that's going on right now, so then she turns into sad, but then you watch it in, like, the real life kind of stage, and it makes sense, because, that's kind of what would have happened in real life. And it works well. It's a really good film.
Oh, that sounds great.
It is. It actually is really. I wasn't expecting anything from it. I went in there like this is going to be, a kids' film. I'll just sit there and just go home afterwards. And I come out and I was like, I came here to laugh, not to feel. Yeah.
Blimey, right? I'll have to give that a watch when it comes out.
Like watch. I won't. Like it'd be a bit weird going on your own.
No.
To watch it. I mean, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Maybe we'll watch it as a family.
Yeah. It's a good. It'd be a really good family film. But I can just imagine me going again. Inside Out. He's like, where's the kid? I was like, there is no kid. It's just me. I love this film. Great. Anyway, what did you think about this rumor about Ben Affleck writing and directing the new Batman trilogy?
Oh, I think it's a terrible idea. I don't like Ben Affleck.
I do. I liked Argo, and I liked what was that film he was in with that woman that he wrote and directed?
No idea.
I forgot what it was. It came out like last year. It was really successful. It won a couple of Oscars.
I think it rings a bell.
Gone Girl, that was it.
Gone Girl?
Yeah.
Alright. I'll tell you what, I've got no problem with his acting, right? Good actor, definitely a good actor. But I don't trust his commitment to Batman as a project, right? Because I've told you about the Daredevil thing.
Yeah.
Right, well, he said it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done and I will never play a superhero again. Then Batman comes along, cha-ching, So that's honestly, that's all I think is in for it. It's not like Ryan Reynolds, who actually owns a part of the Deadpool franchise, because he's that into it. I honestly think, I don't think Ben Affleck would be able to bring as much passion to an adaptation, and I think adaptations need passion. I think you have to be really invested in them. You have to like the Transformers, the first Transformers film, the adaptation, right? It was an alright film, wasn't it? Serviceable, right? Action-packed, it had some funny moments, but it was Michael Bay through and through, vacuous and empty-headed and shallow and kind of sexist, really. And racist. Or I don't know if it's racism, but it is kind of like stereotyping.
Yeah.
But, but it's an alright film. It's an alright film. But once you try to turn that into a franchise, it was disgraceful.
Yeah.
It still is disgraceful. I mean, for some reason, it's still going. But it's a serviceable film because, it was a good idea, bit of money, made a lot of money, revived a toy franchise. But I don't actually think, I've never heard him once say, I love the Transformers, and I love the Transformers for this reason.
I've met one person who really likes it, and he was a guy who worked at my work, and he didn't really know any of the stuff. He just kind of liked the action and like the spectacle of not knowing what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you try to make something like that for money's sake, or because you think it's a good idea, it will be alright, I think, in the main, but it won't be spectacular.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I think the Harry Potter films got so good towards the end is because they stopped doing something that would... I think they stopped trying to make films that would hold together on their own.
Yeah.
And stopped trying to make films that were a serviceable franchise and just started to make adaptations that people would enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, they know by this point people have read the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
They just have. By the fourth book, people know what's going on in Harry Potter world.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Dumbledore dies in the sixth book. Everybody knows that Snape killed Dumbledore. Everybody knows.
They do now, but they didn't when the sixth film came out.
No, well, I think a lot of people did.
The shockwaves that went. I remember it being on the news that there was like a massive thing at the end. Like I didn't know. Like I didn't read the books until after the final film.
Really?
Yeah, because well, I always wanted to read them before the sixth one. Well, then I was like, I'm come this way, with the films, and I heard a lot of people, who read the books because didn't really like the films because they didn't have that as much depth as the books had. Because which is obvious, but people didn't. I didn't really want to have that problem, so I thought I'd get to the end of the films and then I'd read the books. Then, I'm not joking. Like the moment I finished with the Deathly Hallows Part 2, I got home and started reading the first book.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was that into it, and I didn't know that Dumbledore was going to die, and it was a massive shock for me. He was my favourite character of anything fantasy-wise at all, and I was devastated. I'm not going to lie with you. I was like, the fuck's going to happen now? Harry's dead. He's over. It's over. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
I remember when I said that to you. Sorry to interrupt, but I remember when I said to you that Dumbledore's my favourite character of anything fantasy-wise. You're like, really? And I'm like, yep. And I'll still hold that to this day to anyone.
Well, I don't know. See, I don't know what my favourite fantasy character is. It wouldn't be Dumbledore, although, having said that, I am reading the books at the minute, and I'm part way through the fifth one.
Yeah.
Right now. And actually, I have to say, Dumbledore is a pretty good character.
He is. And
it's just things like the random shit he says, like, scars can be very useful. I have a scar on my left knee that's the exact map of the London Underground.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And like, my favourite thing about him, after I really liked him in the show because he's that kind of epic, overlord kind of character. But like, what I really liked about after the books is that he's this epic character, but he's flawed. Unlike Gandalf is pretty much the perfect character.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everything he does is like everyone looks for his help. He's like this, is that like a father figure with nothing wrong with him. Whereas with Dumbledore, he, in the seventh book, he told you about his past where he really wanted, to have power and to get the Deathly Hallows and everything that happened with Grindelwald. You know that he still tried to get that stuff even later on in the years when James Potter died and he took the cloak and went to get the Resurrection Stone. He shows that he still had aspects to him which were flawed and that he could become more of a real character. And
it was his kind of pride and ambition for the Deathly Hallows that got him killed in the sixth one.
Yeah.
Really. It got him cursed, didn't it? So, yeah, he's an interesting character. But what I've always thought about Dumbledore is everybody goes, oh, what a nice, kindly kind of guy. I've never picked that up.
Yeah.
I've always thought, actually, to a certain extent, he was using Harry throughout the entire thing. He just kind of sees Harry as a useful way of killing Voldemort, or a necessary way of killing Voldemort.
Yeah.
Now, yes, he feels some kind of compassion towards Harry. I think he says that at the end of the fifth one when Harry is tearing up his office, which I think is a brilliant bit, and they missed out in the film completely.
Yeah.
Because it's great.
Favourite part of the fifth book for me. That.
Oh, yeah.
Part,
yeah. Where he finally tells him everything that's going on.
Yeah. I remember reading that, and I was like on the edge of my seat, which is like rare when you're reading a book.
Yeah, and you feel for Harry, you do.
Yeah.
Even though he's just a character on a page, you feel for him, and it's like, and they managed halfway to get that across in the film when Sirius died.
Yeah.
That was a pretty intense scene.
It was done really well in the film, I thought.
Yeah, it was done really well, and I thought actually. Although Daniel Radcliffe, not the best actor all the time in the Harry Potter series, I don't think. He acted that bit really well.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the same with when he had that fight with Ron in the seventh one.
Yeah.
That was really well done.
I thought he was great as Harry. I thought they nailed the three, to be honest. I thought Emma Watson was great as Hermione. I thought she was probably the best of the three.
Definitely.
Ron was really good in the first 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then I thought he didn't do the dark stuff as good as he could have done, but he was still really strong.
I thought he did the dark stuff in the seventh and the eighth one pretty well because I think by the fourth one, that's when he starts to become a bit of a Ron. I've always thought is kind of Hermione is the earnest one. It's like they kind of form a dynamic. Harry does it.
Yeah.
And Ron, Ron is like darker side. Ron is prepared to do the bad shit to get ahead. Like when they take out, I think it's Dolarhob in the seventh one, in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And Ron's just like, why don't we just kill him?
Yeah.
Let's just kill him and get it over with. And you kind of have to work out where you stand, because Hermione's like, no, it would be wrong.
Yeah.
But Ron's like, but he'd do the same to us.
And the worst thing of removing his memory.
Yeah. If we don't kill him, he's just going to come after us again.
Yeah.
And then Harry is like, no, we'll just confront them.
Yeah.
We'll just obliviate them. That's it. That's what we'll do. And it's I think it's Ron. Ron in the film. I thought it was a better angle in the film. In the 8th film, when Ron suggested that Harry look into Voldemort's mind. That made more sense for me for Ron to do it.
Yeah.
Than for Hermione to do it.
Yeah, because if Hermione did it, it seems like she's kind of going against everything that she said before.
Yeah, she was the one who said, stop looking into his mind.
Yeah.
And then to go, okay, now look into his mind.
Yeah.
No, it made more sense that Ron does it. And I think Ron says it a couple of times. It's a useful link to have.
It is.
Keep it open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thing is, I really like Ron's character.
I do.
And I've always felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, and it goes the same for Rupert Grint, I've always thought,
he's the unlucky one out of the three.
Yeah, he's the kind of one that's excluded, pushed to the side a little bit for Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that's quite fair, because I think he is, he's a really interesting character, and he has a lot of cool moments in the books.
Yeah.
I think just not enough. If you know what I mean? Like he's always coming in second to Harry.
Yeah.
And it's even to the point where Mrs. Weasley, I think, favours him slightly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to ask you this now. Like with Harry Potter, do you know the side characters? Who was your favourite kind of side character?
Ollivander.
Ollivander, really?
Yeah, if I'm not including all the main ones, like Sirius Black and Mad-Eye Moody and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If bit part characters, Ollivander.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why? Because he's got a full voice in the film.
Yeah, Tom Hurt, but also because I find the whole wand law thing really interesting, and I just thought he was a character that was done really well.
Yeah.
She wrote him really well.
Yeah.
Like he had this kind of encyclopedic knowledge about wands and about the way wands worked, and it was the first time with his bit in the book really hit home to me. There was a lot of mystery surrounding magic.
Yeah.
You go into it thinking you just say a lot of funny words.
Yeah.
But it was him where it was his scene where
you find out it has boundaries and it's got rules.
It hits home that actually magic is a bit more complex than you give it credit for.
Yeah.
It's like for example, the fact that he's made 2 wands.
Yeah.
With the Phoenix Feather core, with Fawkes's tail feathers. And one of them is Voldemort's and one of them is Harry's. So, the two of them can't interact properly. They can't kill each other. I find that really interesting, and he was the one who brought that forward for me.
Yeah.
Why? Who's yours?
I don't know, you kind of explained thing really well, Ollivander. I don't know, he's a bit too main to be a side character, but I really liked Arthur Weasley, but I think he's a bit too main.
Yeah, a little bit to me.
Yeah.
But no, I see what you're saying with that. He's really, really nice. I like Arthur.
Yeah.
He's kind of the comic relief.
He was funny. Like, I really liked the moment we met him in the second film where he goes like, when she's like, they flew your car at 12 o'clock in the night, something like that, and he's like,
Did
really?
you really?
How'd it go? That was wrong, boys. Very wrong. But, I don't know, side character. I really like. I know that he was only in it for one film and he's a dark character, but I always found Karkaroff interesting. You got
Really?
Karkaroff. I always wanted to know more of his story. I know that you found he was a Death Eater and that, but I don't know why, but he was one that I wanted to find out, more about him. I don't know why, but I think it's because I found the Death Eaters kind of interesting and how they got there. Because when it follows the story of some of them, I know it follows Bellatrix, afterwards, and if. In the glimpses that you hear, the Malfoys, like betraying Voldemort and then coming back again, or Crabbe and Goyle, Crabbe's parents, they come back after a while. I always found their stories really interesting of how quick it was, to divert and how they was able to get back into society, what they had to say to
totally, yeah.
Yeah, like they did characters superbly. I thought in Harry Potter.
Mm. I thought there were. I did honestly think in the films, um, there were some characters that were done much better than in the books. I thought they did them better, like Snape, for example.
Yeah,
I got the sense in the books that Snape was just a dick.
yeah,
Whereas in the film, he comes across as a very, very conflicted character. Like
yeah,
he's not a total jerk to Harry all the time, but it just comes across he doesn't like Harry very much, and Harry doesn't like him.
yeah,
But it's quite obvious that Snape is trying to protect Harry. Whereas in the book, the whole motivation of Snape saving Harry for Lily Potter, for Lily Potter's memory, that didn't really square away with me for considering he'd been such a tool to Harry throughout all of the books that and had put him in circumstances where he'd been in danger. You know, actively done it, like or just actively denied him the chance for safety or whatever. There are a couple of occasions where what Snape is doing looks distinctly dodgy.
yeah.
And it didn't really square away with me.
I think it kind of explained that well. Do you know with the with the memory?
Yeah,
I thought it explained it well in the book. To be honest, I
I
personally
don't know. I thought he explained it better in the film. Again, I gotta say, but
like,
there was a lot more emotion in the film.
there was more emotion in the film. I agree with that, but I don't know. I think I was a bit more satisfied with the explanation in the book. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Different strokes. For
Yeah,
different folks.
it is. Yeah, it's kind of a thing where and it's the only film where I support. There's been a two-parter, and I felt like it's made sense.
Yeah.
Because
It
the
needed
Battle of Hogwarts was so freaking good in the second part of Harry Potter. The Hunger Games didn't fucking need it. Twilight, why the fuck did that need it? I know I haven't seen it, but
and the whole thing about Twilight is that that epic battle at the end never happened.
Yeah.
Not in the book or the film. It's like it turned out that was the world's biggest fake out. Didn't
Yeah.
It? Something
yeah, like Harry Potter, and I've actually met a few people that have said, the first part of the seventh was the favourite because it was like it felt like they were getting on with stuff. If for the first time it felt like because like even in the sixth film, even though there's danger on the outside, they're still like joking and there's still the nature of school and it's still trying to, it still didn't feel completely real. But with the seventh one, where they're hiding from places, they've got to put enchantments on, you hearing on the news, it felt that people have said to me that that was the first time when they felt like a severe danger.
You saw the threat. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the seventh one, and and I remember thinking at the ending, because the ending it shows Voldemort getting the Elder Wand.
Yeah.
And you felt like, I can't wait enough, for this final one. And when it released the posters, which I've actually got in my room, of Hogwarts on fire. Do when it shows Hogwarts getting burnt? I was like, I can't wait for this last one. And it was.
No, me neither. I thought the best part about the last film was the fact that they took what was about probably 100 pages of a 600-page book and just condensed it down and properly went to town on that 100 pages.
Yeah.
Not only that, but there were some segments where I thought actually they improved upon it.
Yeah.
I mean, like Neville. You got to see a lot more of Neville doing things, who I always thought was a really good character.
Yeah. I always thought Neville was someone that she planned to have a major thing throughout the books. And then when she thought of this conclusion for Neville, she thought, hang on a minute, I'll have him as this kind of side character, a bit of a ditzy, who comes and saves the day at the end. That's how I thought.
In the first one, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
It felt like you had the four of them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Neville just disappeared.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't so much mind that when you get that payoff in the book, but it's not as satisfying as it is in the film.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden in the film, you've watched him morph from this weed into a hero. And, blowing up bridges and taunting Death Eaters and like.
That was such a good scene when they all start running through and then he shits himself and turns around.
Giving a two-fingered salute to Voldemort.
Yeah. And
that kind of talk at the end. It was a really cheesy team talk, but you didn't really mind.
No, it was so cheesy, but then he was like, "Yeah, go Neville, yeah."
yeah. You are honestly like, "Yeah, come on, Neville."
Yeah.
Fuck him up. Yeah. Yeah, and all of a sudden he pulled out this giant great sword, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, he's like, Aragorn, where have you been?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, have you got anything more to add? Because I think we've come to the end. Of the episode.
No, I haven't really. No.
No, and yeah, we've pretty much done. We're still going to try and do this as a 2-week thing. You know, even with uni, we're going to uni and things like that, and we're still going to try and keep it going. It might not be on a set date because people have got different things going on and everything.
Yeah.
But we're still going to try and keep it going as strongly as we can. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please comment, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, which I've never said before, and like the video on YouTube or whatever you do on Stitcher. I don't think you can like it on Stitcher. Just watch it again. I don't know. Tell a friend. Right. Please subscribe to John the Gorans. Goodbye.